1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
We will get into all of the preseason football, but first of all, Perloff is back. Yay! Welcome back. Back from ACC country. Beautiful Stanford, Palo Alto. We're so happy to have you back. How was your vacay?
It was amazing. Yeah. I basically didn't think about ACC football, but I did go to the pool where Katie Ledecky swam at Stanford with my kids and watched in awe at a blank pool.
Just touch the water a little bit.
We walked in and we were like, wow, this is where Katie Ledecky trained. And this is where the building next door where they're trying to figure out how to stop Clemson's defense.
Wow, good luck with all that. Stopping Ledecky, stopping Clemson, it's going to be tough. Okay, we'll get more into your vacation. You have a major etiquette thing that happened that we have to get into, and we'll do it fast. But before we get to preseason football, there was a big, huge sports moment over the weekend when it comes to the Olympics, and it has to do with men's basketball, and it has to do with Steph Curry. And Steph Curry was the difference between the U.S. winning gold and the U.S. winning silver. He was on one of those Steph Curry cannot be stopped moments, Pearl. And to say that it was his greatest moment is the truth. And that's not a knock on Steph Curry, by the way, because of all the superstars who were on that team, they were sitting around watching him go to work.
I can't believe you're saying career-wise this was his greatest moment, or you could argue it is his greatest moment. This is the Olympics. They were beating a France team that had a bunch of half G-leaguers and Victor Wembanyama.
But France put a scare into them.
They did.
And that game was tight. And here's the thing, right? I think at that point, it doesn't become about who the competition is. At that point, it's the U.S. almost versus themselves. There is more pressure because there's more embarrassment in losing the gold medal than there is losing an NBA Finals. And that's just the truth. Yep. It's not embarrassing. If the Warriors had actually lost that finals to the Boston Celtics, no one would have said, oh my gosh, they can't show their faces around town. They would have said, all right, they lost a 7-game series. The embarrassment that comes with this team losing a gold medal is greater than anything that happens in the NBA. And so for that reason, for Curry to rise above and to take on that pressure while Kevin Durant and LeBron are watching him work, I think this is one of one for Curry. This is a one of one moment.
Well, it is pretty cool that KD and LeBron were there. I will admit that. The history of it, I'm not discounting all that, but this is going to be an anti-Olympic take. It's the Olympics. Yeah. I mean, winning an NBA title is so much harder. One thing about Curry, I know he had a big finals game in 2015, but a lot of times the Warriors didn't need these last-second heroics from Curry, so maybe he didn't get that signature moment because during their 4 title runs, they were just way out ahead of everybody.
Well, they needed him against Boston They definitely needed him game 6 against Boston. No doubt about that. But
I mean, they had Boston in that series. It wasn't. It wasn't like
2-2,
this.
but sure. Okay.
It wasn't like, they lost games 1 and 3, but they had them where they figured them out. Anyway, this was an incredible moment, but just France, by the way, they did the one thing you cannot do, and I say this all the time: you cannot let a big man go out on Steph Curry, because Curry. This didn't surprise me that Curry hit these shots. When he sees a slow 6'8" guy get on him, he's like, I'm going to toast you from outside. And that's exactly what he did. So I just think that you got to put everything into perspective. What he did, was it really that incredible to beat France? I'm sorry. This was a good French team. I understand how the game was close, but I just can't put this in all-time accomplishment because winning an NBA title is so much harder.
Okay, but here's the thing. When this got into the medal round, so we're no longer in the group stage where you can lose and you can still move on. We're talking about single elimination moments. Steph Curry hit 9 threes against Serbia and he hit 8 threes against France. That is, by the way, let's talk about Serbia. Because we talked about Durant and we talked about LeBron and everyone's contribution in that win. Joel Embiid, your guy, had his signature moments in that game for sure. And Steph Curry, though, they're not still within even striking distance without Curry keeping them in that game. And let's also call another thing. We're talking about Steph Curry. Did he have his all-time great moment in the gold medal game? Part of the reason, and I would say a huge part of why the world is actually right at the doorstep for the United States and why we actually are in danger of losing some of these gold medals and why we did lose in 2004, but why we're in danger now and with these really tight games is, the dream team in 92 and that really, set a global basketball on a different course. But it's because of Curry. Curry shooting in the way and changing the NBA in the way he did, which is that you cannot dispute, also had an effect on the rest of the world. Look at all the guys who come from different countries now, let alone our own country. What's the one thing they all can do? They can all shoot. And Curry rose above the best of the best on his own team and globally. I just think that he deserves this moment more than anyone. I
can't buy that argument. Because back in the day, Oscar Schmidt and Brazil, those guys, the outside, Europe's always been able to shoot. They actually were shooting before Steph Curry was.
Big men?
But
a little bit. Divac, but
honestly,
not like this.
Wemby said that he was more inspired by KD than Curry. But Wemby did hit some outside shots. I mean, geez, my Wembenyama is going to be a bus take. Looks worse than ever. But regardless.
We plotted out your route, by the way, to San Antonio. Yeah. We took care of that while you were
I kept talking about that. I was telling my kids, I said that guy was going to be a bust. They're like, Dad, you're an idiot. Because Wembenyama looked great. But the thing about Curry and this team, honestly, I'm not sure the world is catching up like everyone says. I just don't think this was a great U.S. team because they're anciently old. Honestly, I think there's a U.S. team that could have beaten this team. You could have had a second full U.S. team that could have beat this team. I'm being dead serious.
I know, but then why didn't the younger guys play?
Well, because LeBron has so much power in the NBA that he died.
Anthony Edwards, believe me, they tried to put him in against Serbia, and he couldn't hit a shot.
It's all chemistry. It's all chemistry and timing. And honestly, you could put a team with, I'm saying, if you had Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Anthony Edwards and guys who weren't on the team, like Jayson, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. My point being, they didn't play Tatum. You could have put a young team that could have really challenged this team. And I think that this is not. I'm just going by obvious fact that LeBron is old, KD is old, and Curry had to come in 36 and be great. And Joel Embiid was hobbling, and he did play great against Serbia. But honestly, there's some vulnerability in this team. I think that everyone's panicking about 28. I'm not at all. I think the 28 team is going to be better.
Well, they probably will because they will be younger. But
except LeBron is going to try and get on that team.
Maybe. We're talking about Steph Curry, though, and was this an all-time moment for him in the gold medal game because he, was hitting shots from everywhere. He was the closer. Guys standing around watching Steph Curry just take care of business. There's another reason why I think saying that this is his greatest moment is not an insult to him in any way. Look at the response and the reaction of two other athletes in these Olympics. Novak Djokovic, who's done everything you can possibly do in his sport, weeping, openly weeping by winning a gold medal. This meant something to him. And two, look at Jokic. Jokic won the bronze. Have you seen the video of him celebrating?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he hasn't gotten this excited since, a Serbian horse race.
So the third race went off and whatever. But he was hammered though, Maggie.
Since he, camped out at the Serbian OTB.
He was drunk.
I get it. But Perloff, it's like he won the title for the Nuggets, and it was like, ho-hum. I don't even want to stick around for the parade. Get me out of here so I can get back to my horses. He won the bronze medal. They beat Germany for Serbian basketball, and he's dancing.
Oh, yeah.
He's on the bus. Yes,
hammered.
Fine. But nonetheless, excited, super excited. And so if it's good enough for Jokic to be almost, at least outwardly, more excited to win a bronze medal than win an NBA title, I think it's fine to say Steph Curry's greatest moment happened in the Olympics.
Well, another thing, too, about Djokovic. Djokovic is never going to beat Alcaraz again the rest of his life. I mean, that is very evident. I don't think he ever wins another major because he can't beat that dude, so he beat him in the Olympic format, whatever. We're not going to get into that. Carmelo Anthony had all these great Olympic moments, and that's sort of one of the things he's remembered for.
And we'll probably get him to the Hall of Fame.
But I think when you talk about that formula, Carmelo's remembered for those moments because he was disappointing as an NBA player.
Okay, well,
Curry has not been disappointing as an NBA player.
Kobe's remembered. I know you don't
Redeem
think so.
Team, yep.
But Redeem Team, I know you have beef with the Redeem Team. But Kobe was that guy in the gold medal game where everyone's looking around like, oh no, what are we going to do?
Yep.
And Kobe took it home. So
yeah, but I mean, Kobe's legacy is so rich with actual NBA playoff experience. I don't think that really gets into the first 5 paragraphs of the bio.
Do you think this was Steph Curry's greatest moment? 855-212-4227. Can I tell you 2 other thoughts that I had about Steph Curry? And I'm curious if anyone else is with me on this. Are we not lamenting what would have happened if Durant just stays?
Yep.
I know he tore the Achilles. I get it. It would have been a long road back. But the fact that the Warriors won again in 22 and beat the Boston Celtics, I mean, how many more could they have ripped off? Like, I'm watching Kevin Durant hug Steve Kerr, guy couldn't stand and had all these conflicts with, if you read Ethan Strauss's book. And it wasn't just about Draymond. It was also about Kerr. And it's like, man, could they have bridged that gap? We got Bob Myers on TV for 1 million hours. Can we get some commentary on that? That was the one thing I thought.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if you look at it, how many more would they have actually won? Because Durant did miss a.
Look how good Durant's playing. What if he was on the team right now? They wouldn't be losing to the Sacramento Kings in the play-in. I bet that.
Well, Durant didn't really fully get back to 21, 22. And they won that. The Warriors won that title.
But maybe 23, maybe 24. I don't.
So the last 2 years, I just think the West has gotten pretty tough. I'm not so sure they get out of that. I'm not sure overall because, come on, they won the title without him.
I get it.
Yeah, it would have been. I'll tell you one thing it would have been better for is Kevin Durant. Anything but Phoenix would have been better for Kevin Durant. That thought jumped into my mind watching him with this USA team. I'm like, oh man, it stinks that LeBron's never going to do anything in the playoffs with this Lakers team. It kind of stinks that Curry is on a fading Warriors team, but KD is stuck. I mean, that is a terrible way to end his career.
But Booker was one of the closing guys. Yeah. I mean, you have 2 of the best, seemingly 2 of the best 5 guys that the United States has to offer.
But we know it. That team is run by knuckleheads in Phoenix.
Well, they've got no depth and nothing like that. Nothing like the depth of Team USA. And then, so we're talking about Steph Curry and was the Olympics his signature moment of his career? I say yes and Perloff says no. The other thing, did anyone else think this just a little bit? And I know this one's going to get me in trouble. Do you do the night-night when it's the Olympics?
Do it like 3 times. They night-nighted on the second 3 and the third 3.
Okay. Is there something about, the Olympic spirit, guys? And I'm not trying to do I know I got in trouble with this with Noah Lyles, and I said, can you really call yourself the fastest man on the earth when you win by 5 1,000ths of a second?
I saw that, by the way, and I just wanted to call in and complain about that take, but go ahead.
Well, you weren't alone. It was 100-0. That one was very.
It's like an airplane. Get in line.
That was extremely unbiased. The phones have been ringing off the hook. Pete knows that because everyone is lining up to disagree with me. I got it. I hear you loud and clear. All the FUs, I saw them. Do you do night-night at the Olympics? It's one thing to talk a lot of trash in the NBA. I get it. But I thought the Olympic spirit was maybe a little bit different. Do you do the petty stuff? He can't guard me. it's the Olympics. It's supposed to have a different vibe than the normal NBA stuff.
A related question. Since when is there an MVP for the men's Olympic basketball team? I know there's been a couple other ones. It is the stupidest award in the history of sports. It is all about the team, and then you give MVP. So Nike somehow squirrels their way into this and gets LeBron the MVP in some Phil Knight masterstroke. It is the dumbest award I've ever seen in my life.
This was a Nike thing?
Well, everybody thinks
what are you, Jaylen Brown?
Everyone thinks
the conspiracy theories?
Everyone thinks that Nike forced LeBron into, like, this was all like what LeBron stat padding and winning this MVP was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And I know Pete Pilati's with me because he did not appreciate when LeBron pushed that kid last night either.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, Mr. Megastar, I get lost, all right?
Yeah, but this should not have an MVP. Related to your take, there should be no MVP of Team USA. It's Team USA. You're doing it for your country. It's not about individual performance. You're right. It shouldn't be about the night either.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we're doing night to the France team. Like, what do we, if anyone had a reason to actually clap back at the crowd, it would have been Embiid, who really took the brunt of it, all the boos. And I get it. He kind of spurned that team in the country. I understand. And the booing is one thing, and I'll never tell fans not to boo. It's totally within your right in sports. Are we doing night? It seems, I know Steph is the petty king, but don't you put the pettiness aside for the Olympics? Like, I know people cheat in the Olympics. It's not perfect. Pete hates it. It pretends to be this thing like it's flawless, and clearly it's very flawed. But again, do you save the petty stuff for?
We're lucky Kevin Durant didn't want to trade. I mean, you're dealing with the ultimate. In terms of pettiness, this is what they are.
Don't you put it aside, though?
You should, but they're not gonna.
855-212-4227. Can we put up on the poll? EJ's in the home studios. He doesn't want to do it. I feel like EJ's going to do a protest here. You don't want to put this poll up?
Thinking about it. I'll be honest. I don't understand these takes this morning. I'm sorry. I sat through this morning between LeBron pushing a kid when he didn't push a kid, to Steph do his signature celebration that he does all the time when he closes games out. What are we talking about?
Well, you don't wear the same numbers.
MVP awards? It was a basketball tournament. Of course, there's going to be an MVP award.
I know, but that's
what
new.
Is going on today?
That's new this cycle.
No, they've had.
No, I know, but
Madi won it. There's been 3 MVPs randomly. They had it in 2004, then they got rid of it, and then they brought it back because it's so stupid.
Interesting.
Why is it stupid? It's a basketball tournament. Usually, you do award somebody the best player.
Who's the MVP of the volleyball tournament? Like, they don't do it for other sports.
I don't think so.
But it's a basketball thing. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't love the MVP thing. It does feel, I don't know if it's Nike behind it, but it does feel a little like silly. I just think that you don't wear your same number when you're on the Olympic team.
Right.
Yes.
You change a lot of things. You don't start if you're, certain guys. You have to play on the bench. You accept a different role, and you kind of you don't become a different person, but you play a different way maybe. And to do the night, and then to have it in French on the shirt, new or whatever. I'm going to butcher that. To have that on your shirt, too, it's like you've got merch. You've got night in French merch. I mean, how much are we really trolling the rest of the world now? You don't have to. You won the gold. And, by the way, you were the favorite. It'd be one thing, I think, to talk a lot of trash if you pull an upset. You're the favorite. It's Team USA. You did Steph Curry things. We know you're amazing. You don't have to troll everybody.
I mean, he's just trying to sell some merch, Maggie. You know what I mean? He's just trying to sell some merch out here.
We'll just make better basketball shoes, and everyone would just buy those.
Oof.
But Maggie, there was nothing else about his performance that was unlike Steph Curry. Was the handle different? No. Was the step back different? Was the stroke different? Everything you saw from Steph was what you see in the NBA. So, of course, we're wanting to see LeBron do his stupid crown thing every time he comes on camera. We want to see Steph Curry do his night when he hits these remarkable threes. Like, that's why the people are there. I mean, you saw the crowd and how they were reacting. The French announcers were calling him this devil named Curry. They didn't know what was going on. This is how awesome this was. Of course, they got to bring everything they bring to the NBA to that Olympic stage. That's why they're there. Otherwise, just send the college kids back.
Yeah, well, I was dying to see LeBron celebrate. Get out of here. Me and Pete, old school. Pete, help jump in there.
No
crown.
more LeBron. Enough.
855-212-4227.
Dancing in the club as he spurns a fan. Oh, what a guy.
Man, a lot was going
can't be
on.
running up on the king, though. I mean, that is.
Come on.
I mean,
He's asking for a picture. He didn't take his wallet.
No. Well, Ayesha Curry did get assaulted, by the way. So something did happen to a member of
But
Team
it's a
USA.
kid with
had to get
a
involved.
camera.
I know. Anyway, there was a lot to unpack. If you're just waking up, you're not sure about all these, we'll get you all the details of the aftermath. After the party is the after party. And some things happen after the game. You mentioned Ayesha Curry. We'll get into that. Mention LeBron. Get to that. But now it's about Steph Curry. Steph Curry, was this his signature moment of his career? And two, can you do the night-night stuff? Do you do the petty stuff at the Olympics, or was that bad form? 855-212-4227. We're all back together. And we've got Andrew Bogusch who's got headlines for us. Next, one NFL Pro Bowler wants a change of scenery, and he's putting it out there. And we're not talking about Brandon Ayuk. More Maggie and Perloff in just moments.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. So I was on JetBlue. I'm just going to call them out right now. Both there and back on my trip to California, and my TV didn't work for either of them.
Brutal.
It happens all the time. I had my headphones all set to go, and I couldn't see anything. So I had to watch other people's screens, which I always do on a plane. Do you do the same thing?
Absolutely. I can't help it.
Yeah. So the person next to me was watching 2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
That show was funnier than we think because Charlie Sheen was hysterical.
Did we not give them a high enough seed in our sitcom
Probably
bracket?
not.
Probably not. And because I think the show fizzled a lot after Charlie Sheen lost his mind.
Yeah, went on Dan Patrick's show and said he had tiger blood.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it fizzled.
Actually, or maybe that made it better. But and then 2 rows up, I watched Mamma Mia twice because multiple people were watching Mamma Mia for some reason with Meryl Streep. Funny film. They were all singing and dancing.
Though.
Yeah, there was no sound. No, but I've seen the movie so many times, I know it. Don't ask.
You got the gist. What do you think about, I know they tell you, like, be aware of your surroundings, but the people who are watching stuff on planes with just blatant nudity.
Yeah, that's weird. I would never do that. You mean on their laptops or on the screen?
I would say either. Like, sometimes you could end up in a couple Game of Thrones episodes where it's just like total full frontal, male and female. Good morning, Bogish. People watching weird stuff on their laptop. It's not porn, obviously. That'd be insane. But it's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's not good. I would not do that on a plane. I would not watch Game of Thrones. I've seen other people do it and wondered, do you angle the laptop towards you or do you sort of fast forward that scene when they're
they
doing
watching Monsters Ball.
Right. Don't do that. It's like my kid, I'm walking my kid back from the bathroom, like, don't look.
I did something pure Perloff, by the way, and you will know what I'm talking about. There's a movie called The Boys in the Boat about the 1936 Olympics where a U.S. crew was competing against Germany for the gold medal in crew.
Yeah.
I think Redford, or somebody famous, George Clooney directed it. I was like, don't watch the last scene. This is to my right, about 3 rows up. Don't watch the last scene because I want to watch this later and rent it at home. But I was glued and USA won and it ruined the whole thing. Now I don't need to see it.
I know, but this is actually anti-Perloff because usually you watch the first 5 minutes of something and then go to look Wikipedia.
It up. No, I know, but I didn't have internet access, but I ruined the movie. There's no reason. Why would I watch it now? I watched the last 20 minutes on mute.
Gonna be honest, you didn't think the U.S. was winning that one? You didn't think we were pulling that one out?
I had no idea. Actually, when this movie came out, I'm like, I remember Jesse Owens, of course. I've never heard of a famous USA crew team. I'm like, why are they even making this movie?
They finished fourth?
It's called The Boys in the Boat. Has anyone seen it? It was kind of a big movie.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Well, USA won. I just spoiled it for everybody.
We
landed on the moon.
Spoiler, right. Most things that have to do with World War II, we come out on the good side.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It was pretty cool for what I could tell for 3 rows up with no sound.
I do it. I watch everyone next to me. I'm just blatantly staring at their screen.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Leaning over. I'm like, can you start it again? Can I have one of your ear pods?
Or if there's subtitles, then you can actually follow it. It's pathetic.
It's always movies I would never choose for myself too. It's like, I guess I'm watching a Marvel movie, which I never watch. Nothing like that. It's like, I guess I'm here watching John Wick.
Yeah,
I would never choose that.
The only thing that worked on my screen in front of me was the My Trip function, so I could see that my plane was over Albuquerque. So I'm like, well,
there's a term for that now, but I'm not going to say it because
really.
I don't think I can say it.
A term for what?
There's a term now for people who just stare at their screen. Yes, EJ, you're nodding. I see it. Can I say that word on radio?
Why not? It's the term used for this thing.
For staring at your screen?
Yeah. I've been trying to get this in the show, by the way, for like 3 weeks.
I know.
It's been on our notes.
I've seen it, and I've been
Maggie
ignoring it.
Ignored it.
Andrew Bogus looks awfully nervous.
It's been mentioned on other shows. So
on this network or on
not on
Fab?
this network, but on
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't count though.
Yeah.
They don't have rules over there.
That's true.
They say some words over there that we
Wait,
generally
Maggie,
don't say
can you
over here.
whisper it to me off camera? Can we turn our mics off for 1 second? Can I weigh in on this before we make an executive decision?
Bogus, you're the newsman here. Do you have a euphemism for this?
I mean, I can a euphemism. That is the euphemism. Do you want the
Is
literal?
there another word? Can you thesaurus this thing?
I'll give you some. It's doing something without protection.
That's what you normally.
Why is that? So wait, you're telling me? Okay.
There's a crude name for that decision.
And this is why EJ's been putting it on the rundown, and I've been ignoring it.
But what is that? Okay, I think I know the word you're talking about.
Yeah, it starts with raw.
Yeah. Why is that? So why is staring at your screen that thing?
That's what they're calling it.
Find another term.
Because
I
you're
don't know why
not
we need
bringing
that term.
You're not bringing any enhancements, I guess, into it. You're just sitting there staring at the flight path.
Like David Putty in Seinfeld.
Yeah. It just stares at the back of the seat.
Doubles.
I still have only read the term like on online stories. I have not heard David Muir say it yet on like ABC Nightly News, so I don't know where the mainstream media has landed on
Lester
putting
Holt
this out
says
there.
it, then I'll use it.
We'll use Lester Holt from here on out.
Right.
If Lester says it, then we can say it.
A new word has been added to the
Yeah,
vernacular today.
Merriam-Webster as their word of the year.
So does this mean when you don't watch a movie or that
Anything.
No
you
music,
do nothing.
no
You're just staring
movies.
at
No
the screen.
drinks. You just sit there and look at the screen. That's it.
By the way, it's all fake. Nobody's actually doing this on a 24-hour flight to Singapore.
Well, someone might be. Someone might be nervous as hell.
No, I gotta tell you.
watched it. You think you're watching, and then what? Something happens at the plane, and you're going to be like, we're going down now. I'm so glad I'm watching the
You're
math.
holding on to the seat.
70% of the TVs did not work on this JetBlue flight, so there was a lot of people doing that thing, staring at. Oh, great, we're over Topeka! Yay!
Hi, Topeka.
I love the My Flight tool, though. That's like one of the best
Yeah, it's
things
awesome.
ever invented.
What, you want to see your altitude and how cold it is
Oh, yeah.
out there? You
When I'm-
find that interesting?
When I was flying to Iceland, I was like looking, I'm like, wow, the Labrador Sea, like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this
Yeah.
existed.
I'm
Look at all those dogs.
You've never seen a globe
You and I
before.
are exactly. I'm like, I want to
Still
know
water,
what body
still
of water
water,
I'm
still
over.
water.
Look at those dogs down there, man. That's crazy. They're in
Like,
the water.
do you know what it is in Celsius out there?
Yeah.
It is
My God.
freezing.
I had a confusing
No one
thing.
opened the window.
So we were flying into the airport, and I guess there was no runway for us, so we had to circle. So it said
it's the worst.
4 minutes left till we landed. It said 4 minutes for about 18 minutes. I was like, well, my trip is off because it said there were 4 minutes left, and it's been stuck there as we circle the stupid airport.
Once we were circling an airport, and my husband's appendix started to burst.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Man,
Thank you, LaGuardia. Almost killed him.
was he
And-
watching a movie during this experience?
Yeah, he was watching, Back to the Future, so everything was fine. No, it was rough. We had to go straight to the hospital from the airport. I know.
He felt bad the entire time, and you were waiting
Just
to get
as
off.
we were circling, all of a sudden he's like, I don't feel so well. I'm like, well, we were just at a wedding last night. Maybe you're just feeling a little hungover or something like that. He's like, no, something's wrong. And we landed, and my husband's mom is a physician, and he called her. He's like, my stomach's been hurting for like 40 minutes. She's like, go to the hospital. Note to everybody, if your stomach's been hurting for an hour, go to the hospital. There you go. Bogus, you have headlines for us.
Not medical advice.
Didn't see that appendix left turn coming.
Sorry,
Ginger
everyone.
ale. I don't.
He's fine. But we just gotten married. I'm like, man, you had till that in sickness and in health bullet really in the
Well,
chamber.
because then you're getting into another plane etiquette thing. Your stomach hurts. You're circling.
Wasn't that?
Yeah. Because like, wow, I haven't been
He's
able to get into that
blown.
bathroom for 20 minutes. It's been on a red. Like, do I want to go to that bathroom, or am I going to go? If I can sneak into first class and use that bathroom after?
Probably another term that we also can't say on the air.
What's that
for what he
term?
would have done to that bathroom.
You guys know what I'm talking about. You're standing back there, and you're standing back there. You're like, I don't even want to go in there now.
Never mind.
Don't
I'll just have an accident.
That's another plane etiquette. It's like, do you really? If you can wait.
Oh, my
Isn't
God.
it? You wait. I mean, listen, if you're over Topeka, you just got to go.
Why do you think Zoo's so interested in my trip?
I'm not exactly having burritos on the way home.
Hey, now.
I used to take the bus to Boston to visit my wife in
Oh,
college.
dear God.
The bus bathroom is the worst bathroom because everybody deals with that no matter what
No,
you're
that's
doing.
the craziest thing I've ever heard. The bus bathroom.
Oh,
That's
you are a special person if you are doing that to somebody in that back row on the bus, man.
That's the only time when cool kid's not in the back. When you're on one of those, like a Greyhound or whatever,
Greyhounds.
you got to be right behind the driver.
I was in one of those going to Atlantic City, and those trips have a lot of people that use that bathroom.
Oh yeah, they don't
They're all
care.
90.
Also,
they don't
why
care.
is that trip longer than getting to the moon? It's like we're just going from New York City to Atlantic City. Why does it take 12 hours?
I have no idea. All I know is that Roxanne played about 2 times on the time.
It's like being transported in a dump sometimes with the sewage.
Oh, man.
Oh,
All right, let's get to the headlines.
Sure.
Top of the muffin to you, Bojo.
Those headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
I need to win at blackjack to come back in a nice car, so I don't have to take the bus.
You're playing the cards like your life depends on it.
That's right. Doubling down on 20.
The 49ers did not do Maggie any favors over the weekend, refusing to release her and the rest of us from the torture of the Brandon Ayuk stalemate. One solution could have been sending the receiver to Cleveland for Amari Cooper and picks, according to NBC Sports Bay Area. Ayuk apparently did want to sign long-term with the Browns, so that didn't happen. But Cooper might have been okay with San Francisco. His last Instagram post said, quote, LOL, I wouldn't mind at all.
By the way, thank you, Andrew Bogus, for saying this Brandon Ayuk saga has to end. It has gone on way too long. But I totally...
Thank you for parachuting in a week after we've
Yeah.
been doing this. This hostage situation
Oh, my God.
has been
We
brutal.
were doing it. I feel like we've been doing it for months. And I do get that Amari Cooper tweet or whatever it was, because it can't be fun to be in Cleveland right now.
See, I think this is a bad sign. This portends bad things because to me, Cleveland should be definitely a playoff contender and maybe a sneaky Super Bowl contender. Why? You have a 2-time coach of the year. If Watson can play well, you have a good offense. Have you heard how Myles Garrett and David Njoku look in camp?
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Woof, woof.
Thank you, Zach.
I mean, Myles Garrett defense got absolutely torched by C.J. Stroud in the playoffs. I don't know. Cleveland seems to find the banana peel. Yes, logically you say all those things, but nobody's picking the Browns to go to the Super Bowl because there's something about that organization. Why do you think Amari Cooper wanted out then?
No, I don't. See, I think that's a surprise. Like, I was shocked by this. I think there's certain places you want out. All right, you don't want to be in New England right now because they're in a rebuild. You know, maybe you don't want to be in Carolina right now or something like that. I thought the Cleveland is actually not a bad place to be. We were saying if you're Brandon Ayuk, I accept a trade to Cleveland.
Are you kidding me? Could go from San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan to Cleveland? I mean, honestly, Amari Cooper, like receivers eat in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I can understand his point. No, Cleveland is really, you believe that? Because Cleveland's had so much trouble, and it's also Cleveland.
No, they made the playoffs with their 4th quarterback last year. I think people like Cleveland, but we'll unpack more of that later.
Anytime we do free agency, no one's like, man, I got to get myself to Cleveland. Everyone wants to go to California.
But it's not Siberia like it was. It's not like when the Giants traded Odell Beckham there and it seemed like it was a punishment.
That was 3 years ago.
But if you're playing the game of where does Brandon Ayuk want to go last week, the Browns made exponentially more sense than the Patriots.
And maybe even more than Pittsburgh. I mean...
I disagree with that. I think players would much rather go to Pittsburgh because of Tomlin.
They love Tomlin.
Yeah, but Ayuk probably likes Deshaun Watson more than Russ and or Justin Fields.
Nobody knows what Deshaun Watson is. I don't think so at all because of the unknown of his health.
Let's keep going
By the way,
we can get back to that.
The last thing out of San Francisco is that they're talking contract again, which is one of the last things that we said last week, as if they were both just putting things out there that they would never say yes to they end up coming back together to get this done and stay in San Francisco. Like, they never intended to accept the trade, and he never intended to sign anywhere else.
An invitation.
Why don't they just fly in the Joneses and make them negotiate this? I mean, these contract negotiations have gone on way too long. I went on a week's vacation. I thought this would all be cleared up, and nothing has happened.
Nope.
If he had just accepted the trade to New England, this would have been over, but he didn't. Reportedly.
It was as exciting as a 13-12 fake game can be. The Rams stealing a preseason win from the Cowboys yesterday on Stetson Bennett's 6-yard TD throw with 4 seconds left after he threw 4.5 interceptions. Head coach Sean McVay.
But I think it's just about, hey, how do you stay together? How do you respond in the midst of it? And how do you know that, hey, all I can do is the next right thing? And that's exactly what he did on that last drive.
Bennett was 8 of 9 in that final drive. What would have been his 5th pick was negated by a Cowboy hold. Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce said yesterday he'll pick his starting QB, Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell, or retirement after their next preseason game, which is Saturday against those Cowboys. Baseball last night, the Mariners roughed up the Mets 12-1 for a 3-game sweep. Seattle's won 4 straight, remains in a virtual tie with the Astros atop the AL West. And a question for the group, why does Noah Lyles hate the NBA so much? He once critiqued the finals champs, saying they're not the world champions. And now he's mad at Adidas because the shoe company recently invited him to a shoe release party for Anthony Edwards. Lyles is in negotiations with the company for his own signature shoe. Adidas thought the invite was a nice gesture. Lyles did not, saying, "You want to invite me to an event for a man who has not even been to an NBA Finals in a sport that you don't even care about, and you're giving him a shoe? No disrespect. The man's an amazing athlete. He's having a heck of a year. I love they saw the insight to give him a shoe because they saw that he was going to be big. All I'm asking is, how could you not see that for me?"
I mean, it was just an invitation. He didn't have to go there and proclaim Anthony Edwards was the greatest athlete to ever live.
I mean, he barely won.
Yeah, right. I don't get this from Lyles. And this is after the fact when Adidas did give you a contract and did give you a shoe. So why are you complaining now?
I have no idea.
This is to our pal Sean Gregory, by the way, at Time.
Yeah, I do not understand this. Noah Lyles, it's one of the most fascinating Olympic journeys I've ever heard in my entire. His whole thing is nothing is straightforward.
Absolutely not. I mean, wins gold by a nose hair, gets the bronze, but we've learned he has COVID after the race, which is a triumph, really, because you won the race with COVID. And you still competed, and now we get this sour grapes thing. And also, why bring Anthony Edwards into it? I wouldn't unnecessarily cause some beef there.
It makes me appreciate your Noah Lyles barely won take more. Now I'm on your side.
Oh, really?
Yes,
so that's
I'm
two.
on your side. I'm going down with the ship
in the whole world.
But yours is out of malice. Maggie wasn't trying to be mean to Noah Lyles. If you're on her side now because of this.
The end result was what Maggie said was not pro Noah Lyles.
No, but she didn't do it just because she didn't like him. Or because he called out Devin Booker. Or maybe she did. I don't know the motivation.
We were spoiled by Usain Bolt kind of celebrating as he did the last 5 meters. That is... What Noah Lyles did was a normal 100-meter win.
Yeah, and it wasn't Usain Bolt throwing up a peace sign Tyreek Hill.
That was the most awesome thing ever.
Okay, we got to leave it right there. Bogish, thank you so much. Lots more to get to. We have a lot of that Cowboys stuff to unpack. Bogish gave you the Rams side of things with Stetson Bennett not looking awesome. We had a whole Trey Lance situation that we have to get to. Also, Perloff thinks I got something way, way, way wrong. Are you going to agree with me? Are you going to agree with him? We'll do that next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Together, Perloff's back from vacation. Missed the landslide of negative response I got to saying that Noah Lyles really can't claim to be the fastest guy on the planet when you win by 5 1,000ths of a second. Guys weren't happy about that. God. I get it. I still get it. I continue to see your responses, the expletives and all. But Kevin is in Oregon, has a thought on Noah Lyles, the American sprinter. Kevin, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
We're great. What's up?
Good. Well, I was thinking about this. I don't think there's a lot of prize money for elite track and field athletes in competition, right? I mean, they get their money from appearances, endorsements, and things like that. So acting like this towards Adidas seems to be biting the hand that feeds him. And, I mean, he could end up screwing himself in the end if he doesn't watch out because, if I was somebody who was thinking about endorsing him and he was acting this way, I'd just say, forget it, we'll find somebody else.
Yeah, what Kevin is talking about is a story we brought you last hour, which was Noah Lyles told Time magazine that he was offended that Adidas would invite him to a party for Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves to celebrate his signature shoe. Meanwhile, Adidas ended up giving Lyles a shoe and all of the stuff. But, Kevin, it's a great point. This is how you're going to make your money. Like, this is how you live forever off of these gold medals, is being associated with being a winner and all of that. I think it's a great point, Kevin.
Wait, I'll tell you, if he doesn't watch out, all he's going to get is a shoe.
They did give him a track shoe or a shoe? Like what
yeah, they ended up giving him a contract, at least according to the story. I haven't seen it. I don't know. There's a massive Adidas store in New York City. We could probably walk by. I'm sure he's plastered all over the windows, but
I just think he has this sort of arrogant, entitled attitude, it seems, based on this story. Now, I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about him, but I heard him talk before his races, and he seems a little bit full of himself.
Here's the thing, though, Kevin. He backs it up. So I think that there's like a to the victor goes the spoils kind of thing. And sometimes we love it. And thank you for the phone call when athletes, are big personalities out there calling their shot, bragging a lot. And I think that, Noah Lyles certainly deserves, all the good things coming his way. There were a couple things I think that rubbed people the wrong way a little bit. The entrance to the 200 was something, especially knowing he had COVID. Perloff, I'm not sure if you saw this one on vacation. I know you said you were watching a lot of Olympics.
Yeah.
They all get introduced, all the sprinters, and they kind of come out one by one. Listen, it's a show, and the whole race lasts 20 seconds, so you got to beef this thing up a little. But he basically did a victory lap before he even raced. He was so hyped on adrenaline, and then he gets the bronze. But I think that was a triumph because he had 102 fever. I mean, he was sick. He had COVID.
Okay, so for some reason, I couldn't figure out how to change the channel on my in-laws' TV. Very complicated remote. And I was watching E, and I was seeing more of the side events. I did not see. We could get the trackers. We could get the tracker swimming when it counted, but I saw these incredible things where these 6 women dance and throw balls up into the air like Will Ferrell in Old School. Yeah. It was amazing. But I have a question. Are people ripping him for being contagious with COVID at that 200? Is that a topic?
So, yeah, it was. I think that most people believe that, it was really the Olympic Committee said it's up to the athlete, right?
Okay.
They took it out of their hands and put it in the athlete's hands, and it looks like he did try to do everything the right way. He immediately quarantined himself. He was wearing a mask when he was around any other sprinters.
So we're going to do our Maggie and Perloff stock up, stock down. I have a lot of Olympic heroes. Noah Lyles really wasn't mine. I understand that he won with COVID, but you're only running 200 meters. If he had won the marathon with COVID.
Wow. He's
cool.
running against the other fastest people alive, right?
I know, but it's a sprint. It's not when you're sick, it's the endurance that goes down. Like you're just like, boom. When you're sick, you could give you a good minute. Like
he has asthma too. Like this is hard. Also,
get out of here.
If he ran the marathon with COVID, he'd never make it. Like there's no way.
That woman who won the marathon raced 3 long distance races, won gold in all 3. Now that's impressive.
Saw that.
Not 200 meters.
She won the marathon in 2 hours and 22 minutes. You're just basically in an outright sprint for almost 30 miles.
Stunning. And it was so close at the end. That was crazy. But yeah, I just think that if you're sprinting, I mean, when you're sick, you can fake it for a good minute on a call.
With Dayquil?
Yeah. We're just like, I think it's impressive.
Fake it on a call.
But there's a lot going on with this Noah Lyles. I think that shoe thing really turned me off on this guy.
We'll see how much traction that story ends up getting. Can I just pause on one thing for a moment? Why are your in-laws, who are like these accomplished academics, why are they watching the E! channel?
No, we were.
Oh.
Okay. I sound like I'm about 1,000 years old because I couldn't work the remote, but they're very specific. My father-in-law, God bless him, wonderful man, but if you screw up his remote, he will be mad. He'll be secretly mad for a week.
I get it.
So you hit the speaker button, say, Siri, watch Olympics, and for some reason, it was a time of day where it went to E! We were watching dressage or something, and then when he was out, we could never figure out how to change the channel to the other Olympics, which was fine because we watched the silly side events, which are ping pong, which was great.
Lovely. The Ryan Seacrest coverage.
It was all actually super entertaining and dramatic. I did miss the sprints, but we might have been out as well.
You realize your father-in-law is cursing you right now. I mean, if he's awake. Like,
no, I do realize he's definitely not. watching now. He'll listen to the podcast.
Okay. Well, he has every right to be mad. You can't come into somebody's house and mess up their TV.
No, he's not mad because I respected that and did not mess up his TV. So we were good. But you know what I'm talking about.
He's got nothing but fashion police, and this is somebody who's like one of our most accomplished professors.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man. He's
a
brilliant man, but for some reason, every time they choose a new TV, they're like, let's get the most complicated remote setup. There's like 9 different things, and somehow there's still DVDs floating around. Like, they just do not have a simple solution. And I get it too. And it's a sports issue as well. Now that everything's going to streaming, I mean, geez, what a pain in the neck it is to just watch sports now.
Can I pause on this for a second? Because I'm going to sound like the old woman waving her hand at the cloud. But TVs are so complicated now. You want to know where it really hurts me in my personal life?
Where?
My kid's 5 years old. When I was 5 years old, I could wake up on a Saturday morning, go downstairs, turn the TV on, and like get myself a box of cereal or something, and let my parents sleep for another hour while I watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Love it. Me too.
My kid, there's no way he's figuring out our TV. Yeah. And even if we left it for him the night before, like on Nickelodeon or something, it all restarts every time you turn it off.
Well, TV is a punishment for kids now. They think it's the most boring dinosaur thing of all time. If they can't control it on their phone, their brains, I was just reading a book about how the brains are wired differently. TV is not their thing, from what I understand. And you'll get that with your son soon. Like,
but
if you can't swipe, what are you doing?
If he could watch an hour of Paw Patrol while me and my husband get another hour of sleep, I mean, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, give it a couple years. He won't want to do Paw Patrol. He'll want to do TikTok, and you'll be like, uh-oh.
Oh, God. Not there yet. Okay, we still have lots to unpack. Perloff is back from vacation. I know you are absolutely chomping at the bit to talk about preseason and how the rookie quarterbacks all looked over the last couple days. Wow. We'll tell you who was the best of the best and who was the worst of the worst. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Gonna have to ask us collectively to just pump the brakes. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, back from vacation. We're so excited to have you back. So I'll grant you this.
Mm-hmm.
The rookie quarterbacks who played in the preseason this weekend looked a lot better than I thought they were going to look. Okay, I'll grant
just
you
go
that.
one by one. Who looked better than you thought, and why would they look better than you thought? All of them killed it in college. Why are you surprised that they look good as in their preseason debut?
Well, because they're still rookies, and sometimes you're not playing with your full complement of the offense, right? Generally, if you're going to have your rookie QB, who may be the future of the franchise, you generally want your full offensive line out there. If everyone's healthy enough to play, I get that. But you don't have all your weapons.
Right.
You don't have it's still a dress rehearsal. And so I wasn't sure how they'd look. They, for the most part, all looked unreal. Caleb Williams, I thought, number one, far and away. If there were any questions, he looked awesome. And I think he leads the pack. But they all looked good. But here's my thing. How many of those guys were going against full defenses who were actually dialed in on trying to stop them?
No, there was no blitz. There's no exotic blitzes. There's nothing. It's very plain Jane defenses. So I totally understand what you're saying. Yes, this preseason does improve it, but I still don't understand. First of all, and also all these quarterbacks, you said rookies, half of them are 28 years old.
They are older.
Michael Penix is approaching retirement age.
He looks great.
So, of course, they were good. But I'm not sure why you're not as high on this class. You know, there's only 2 classes that have had 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. This class in 83, the famous Dan Marino, John Elway, Jim Kelly draft. I think there's every reason to think, regardless of what happened, like this is going to be possibly an all-time class because you have Caleb Williams,
He looked great.
He compared him to Andrew Luck. I mean, there's no surprise. So who's surprising you? I think maybe McCarthy because we never saw it, but he looked awesome.
It looked just like Michigan. It looked like him handing off the ball a lot, and then when he did get a chance to throw, he was doing his thing.
He threw 18 passes.
Yeah, I mean, a bad pick. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to nitpick everything they did, but yes, they all looked really good. But here's the reason why I want to caution on going so far overboard that this is going to be like 1983. I think that it's about the bust rate is over 50% for first round quarterbacks.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of things that exist today in 2024 that didn't exist in 1983. And you heard Nick Saban say it on the first episode of Hard Knocks when he was at the Bears, and he said the expectations and the weight of the world, and that can end up ruining guys. And the irony is he's saying this on a television show that's there to promote Caleb Williams. But I digress. Some of these guys, and now the expectations may be even higher. I think some guys get crushed under that. And I don't know if this class is so special that they're not going to fall into the same trap that basically every other statistic outside of 1983 had, which is about an over 50% bust rate.
Well, first of all, there's 6, so you could get 3 great ones out of that, which makes it an all-time class. There's only the 83 class, the only class with 3 Hall of Famers.
Sure. I mean, the 2018 class was supposed to be like this. This was Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And
was it supposed to be? I think this class. It was a big class, and it turned out to be a great class because you had Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Right, but you still have Sam Darnold and you still have Josh Rosen. So there's always going to be guys who don't live up, and Baker Mayfield somewhere in the middle.
But this class is such a fluke. This is a series of flukes. Not just because, first of all, these 6 guys should not be here. There's no reason that Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix are even in this draft. It's because partly because of COVID and extended eligibility. It's the adaptation of the transfer portal. So we got to see a lot more of them. Normally, these guys would be 4th-round picks who never had a chance. But bam, all of a sudden you got to see these guys come into this draft. And also, look at the teams they're going to. Since when is there a team where the number 1 overall pick has 3 amazing receivers?
I know.
When does that happen? When is a coach like Sean Payton picking a quarterback? Like, these are fluky situations. So I think it sort of feels like a perfect storm of awesomeness for this class. The great spots they're going to, all of them, except for Drake May. I think that Caleb Williams is going to a great spot because of all the talent they build around on offense. Jaden Daniels has Cliff Kingsbury as his coach, and they have a sneaky good receiving core. Drake May is a disaster. That's a tough spot. We
only saw him for 1 series.
Yeah. And also New England is rebuilding.
Yeah.
So, and then Penix has a lot of talent in Atlanta whenever he gets on the field. J.J. McCarthy has Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson, and then Bo Nix has Sean Payton. The guys who blew me away, by the way, were J.J. McCarthy after the pick, really looked good. And he threw the ball downfield. And Bo Nix, I mean, I read some mixed reviews of it. Bo Nix looks like he's ready to start. Like, he could easily win that competition against Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson.
I thought a lot of guys looked like they were ready to start. And the other part is they all, even Bo Nix, showed off using his legs. Yep. They all can run.
Yeah.
And it's,
thank you.
Caleb Williams, that was one of the most remarkable things. We saw it in college, obviously, but he's like putting on a display passing against the Bills defense, and then all of a sudden started using legs. It was like, oh boy, this guy's going to be a problem. However, this is where I'm going to disagree with you about this class in terms of like the future. There's a thought that, yes, these guys are more ready to play because Bo Nix did 7 years in college and Michael Penix played in multiple different systems, and they've just seen a lot and done a lot more. But this might just be as good as they are. So they're not like, besides Caleb, who kind of looks like he could be like a top 15 quarterback right now, this just might be, and it's not a disrespect, but this might be who Bo Nix is, and his ceiling might be this. So yeah, he'll come in with the higher floor as a rookie, and maybe he won't have the same growing pains that other guys do, but how much better is he going to get? Or is him at 25, is this how good he can be?
Better what, though? I'm not exactly sure. Honestly,
like, we'll see him against a real defense.
But like, what? Yeah, I mean, listen, Bo Nix, I think, is going to be able to read the field really well. I know he's always been athletic. I mean, that's all he could do at Auburn was run for his life, and he's got a nice arm. I mean, the guy was nearly perfect last year.
Yeah, he was.
I think in a normal draft, he would have not been the 6th quarterback taken. I think that he was really good at Oregon. It just feels like a perfect setup. I hear what you're saying. Now, traditionally, older draft prospects have not done well. There's never been a 24-year-old who came in the league who did great. But it's a different era altogether. I just think that they had so many passes in college, they're going to be ready to go. And Penix is the other thing, too. Penix would never, 25 years ago, 1983, Penix would have already been out of football because medical stuff has become so advanced that it's not even an issue anymore. Did anyone think about Michael Penix's knees when he was slinging it downfield? And he's going to get a year to sit behind Kirk Cousins. He's going to be ready to go. You go through the list. There's 6 shots here at the gold, as you'll say. It's going to be a great class because there's 6 guys, and all of them are really interesting. I think you definitely get 3 big hits out of this.
I would say after watching this weekend, I would be surprised if McCarthy is not starting, and I would be surprised if Bo Nix isn't starting.
Ooh.
Obviously, we knew Caleb was going to be starting. We knew Jaden Daniels was going to be starting. or we had very good ideas about Jaden Daniels. I don't know what they'll do with Drake May. Put that on the back burner. Penix is obviously going to be stuck behind Kirk Cousins unless there's an injury. But I think those two guys, now after watching them, like, was Sam Darnold that much better than J.J. McCarthy? Again, it's against defenses who are not game planning for you. I think it sped up their timeline.
Well, I think they can't get over Sam Darnold. The stuff they said after the game, Darnold did look pretty good, and he was with the first team. They didn't put McCarthy out with the first team even once. So I think they're leaning Darnold. And Darnold apparently has looked pretty good in camp. J.J. McCarthy did look amazing. Again, it's hard to tell.
But, like, that's what he is. Like, so, how, again, it's going to be
That's who is Bo Nix? Or
no, J.J. McCarthy.
Oh,
like, that's going to be who he is, right?
Dude threw 2 long touchdowns.
Looked good, but again, they were definitely focusing more in on the run. To me, it looked just like Michigan. It reminded me of that, and their running backs were tearing it up. So, why go away from it?
I don't know. I don't. It seemed like when he was throwing it downfield, he looked
fine.
Pretty comfortable.
Really good. 855-212-4227. If you were watching preseason, were you impressed by these rookies? Can I give you the flip side of this? And it's not a rookie, but I was starting to think that Trey Lance was going to really have a shot here too. I don't, who knows what's going to happen with Dak Prescott, but they brought in Lance because Mike McCarthy is good at developing quarterbacks, and behind the scenes, maybe he's developing Lance. Lance got a lot of playing time in that game against the Rams. And again, it's one preseason game. His legs, amazing. He can run. It looks like he belongs in this league when he runs, but left a lot to be desired in terms of passing. Again, it's preseason. You don't have your full complement of guys, but I was thinking this could be a big preseason for Trey Lance, and I give him like a B, maybe like a B+.
Yeah, I was a big Trey Lance fan coming in. Just in that draft process, there was no bigger winner than Trey Lance. I've never seen anyone who's watched him in practice said, "Oh man, he's got it." You kind of know how teams know in practice. I've never heard someone say that about Trey Lance. In San Francisco, it was nothing but negativity.
Right.
And now in Dallas, there really hasn't been. Forget the preseason. Was there anything in training camp that you heard that said, "Oh, Trey Lance is going to push for this"? Because I have not seen it. Maybe it is out there. It feels like a backup. It doesn't feel like a threat. And by the way, Dak Prescott, who we'll talk about later in the show, once again, ankle issues. I think I agree with you. He probably watched that game and be like, okay, I have nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, like was Dak Prescott, you cut to him on the sideline, he's just like counting hundreds. It's like, he's going to be fine. Dak's going to play this again perfectly. He's going to have Jerry and Stephen Jones over a barrel again, just like he did 4 years ago.
I got to tell you, though.
Win this negotiation.
He was had injuries again on Friday. My friend, Dr. Rock Positano, Peopleotti's favorite, has warned me.
Came on the show and brought a live foot.
Yes, once you have a foot ankle problem like that, it does not go away. And Dak's 31, so they really
played with it last year, and he was the MVP runner-up.
Yeah, but it feels like it just gets worse and worse as you get older. That's a good point. But it does feel like if Trey Lance has to be the backup, what's he going to do with this Dallas team? He's going to run.
I don't think he's going to be the backup. I think they're going to give
Cooper.
it to Rush. And I think that they'd be smart to do that, by the way. And you can have 3 QBs. It's fine. It's just, I thought that Lance may push just at least to have the conversation like, oh, wow, what's life after Dak Prescott going to be? But again, he's going to have all year to sit and learn and get, tutored by Mike McCarthy. And that's not a terrible thing. McCarthy really has developed quarterbacks. Say what you want about his in-game play calling or strategy or what have you, but the guy can develop a quarterback.
I mean, I know this isn't the topic, but is there going to be life after Dak Prescott, or is that going to be in 8 years?
855-212-4227. If you were watching preseason, were you impressed by the rookie quarterbacks? And love to know from the Cowboys fans your thoughts on Trey Lance.
No, not were you impressed. Are you ready to put at least 4 of them into the Hall of Fame? Let's overreact fully, Maggie.
Who's going in the Hall?
Well,
Caleb?
Obviously Caleb.
Yeah.
Obviously Jaden Daniels is going to challenge him for Rookie of the Year. So that's 2 surefire Hall of Famers.
Yeah, obviously, sure.
Drake May is, nah. Just the wrong team, wrong place. Then I saw enough from Bo Nix to put him in the Pro Bowl this year. Michael Penix is my favorite quarterback in the entire NFL. And who's the other one? J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy looked so good.
Jersey in the rafters?
I cannot believe. I can't believe that Michigan didn't let that dude throw more. He just it is ready to go.
15-0.
I just think it's math, Maggie. It's pure math. There's 6 of them. 3 of them are going to be good. Even that how many were in the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen draft? There 5?
It was 5.
And 2 of them are all-timers. So I think this is going to be the second best quarterback class of all time. The second best now on everybody's list is Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers. Let's face it, Eli wasn't that great. So I think Caleb can catch him.
He's going to probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
But he's Eli Manning. If his last name was Eli Rogers or whatever, who knows?
855-212-4227.
Penix.
Let's get crazy. Let's overreact to some preseason. But no, these rookies, they were impressive. You can watch the show. Let's do it. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network, and just in moments at Maggie Gray on X. We say good morning to our Infinity Sportsnet affiliates who we love. Good morning. And also Sirius XM Channel 158. The free Odyssey app is where you can find us. You can download it. Just divide it up into nice little chapters if you ever miss any part of the show. And, of course, the podcast as well. If you watch Trey Lance, Cowboy fans, how you feeling about that? 855-212-4227. Give it about a B. Okay, coming up, we do have a little bit of sort of breaking news out of San Francisco with the 49ers. Want to get to that. This came across late last night. We'll do that next. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. It's very frustrating to be on vacation when a giant story breaks about your own team. Last week was all about the ESPN report on the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know, Maggie, you dove into it with Andrew Bogusch, who's to my left here. This is much ado about nothing.
I knew you'd say that.
Much ado about nothing. It does not matter.
The Eagles are good.
Sirianni's not going to get fired when they're 7-2. Everything, the story laid out exactly what happened. Basically, Jalen Hurts struggled last year, and he went to Wink Martindale, the Giants defense coordinator, and asked what is wrong with his team. And Martindale helped him, apparently, because Hurts does not have respect for head coach Nick Sirianni.
Yes, his X's and O's acumen.
There's a quote in the story that says exactly what happened. Martindale says the Eagles were not committed to quarterback runs anymore, and that's why their offense stopped. Yes, they were committed because Jalen Hurts would flop onto the ground anytime he was one-on-one. He got paid and did not want to take any contact. And that's what happened in the offense. It completely ground to a halt because they were such a dangerous offense the year before because you didn't know if Hurts was going to run or pass. But when Hurts said, nah, I don't need to get hit, and also he had a knee problem, which probably contributed to it. The entire offense slowed down. So, of course, it was a grind because your greatest weapon, which was Hurts running and throwing, was taken away.
So we did mention, Bogusch, I think you can back me up on this, that the knee injury was conspicuously absent from this entire article. Like, they never addressed the fact that Hurts may have been really dealing with something significant, and it never made it in. Why I said that Nick Sirianni would be the first coach fired after reading this is because I think if you don't respect the X's and O's of the coach, and that's out there, and now the coach had to replace his assistants, and it was Howie Roseman, the general manager, who picked the assistants, I still don't think that means he respects Nick Sirianni as a football mind. And I think that it doesn't, just because they're winning games, this article showed, doesn't mean that things are going well or that things are on the right track, because they were all walking around like their dog had just died because they had lost the Super Bowl, even when they were at 10-1. I also thought it was not a good thing in the article. They said that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts basically can't communicate one-on-one. They have to have a third person there, and that person is now Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore doesn't have a degree in psychology. So I just think you're putting a lot on this when I think it's probably one of the most important relationships to have trust between the quarterback and the head coach. And it doesn't look like there's any trust there.
And why? So wait, but in this model, there was no trust lost. Jalen Hurts probably never trusted Nick Sirianni. He probably never had any faith for them. And they lost 38-35 to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Hurts shredded everybody because he had a great offense coordinator in Shane Steichen. And then when Steichen left, and then Hurts decided, I'm not going to run, of course the offense fell apart. There's nothing changed from 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. I'm sure Nick Sirianni, everyone knows Nick Sirianni is not an X's and O's genius, but it worked in the past. Why can't it work now?
Okay, because they fell off a cliff.
Yeah, because their defense, they had nobody in the secondary. They brought in Kevin Byard, who had given up on football altogether and said, I'm not tackling anybody.
I thought it was
basically, they never got the ball back on offense because they were torched so bad on defense every single week.
Man, for someone who doesn't think this article meant a lot, you really are defending.
No, but that wasn't in the article. They didn't talk about how terrible the defensive coordinator was and how terrible the defensive effort was. I mean, maybe that's on Sirianni, but basically what happened, the two coordinators left. And that they hired the wrong guys.
Yeah,
they
hired absolutely. So you know what they did? They took away the hiring from Nick Sirianni.
The Sirianni guys did not work. They basically, Howie said, bring in Patricia to try and save this mess.
No, but the article says that Howie Roseman was the one who hired the assistant. So you have a head coach who's not allowed or not given the authority to hire his own assistants, not great at X's and O's. The team vibes couldn't be further from anything you'd want last year. He doesn't have a good enough relationship with the quarterback to be able to communicate one-on-one. What do you do around here? That was a fair question
What did he do 2 years ago?
He had Shane Steichen. That's what changed. You just said it. Steichen left, and they had to deal with him more directly, and they went, uh-oh.
Well, no, I mean, listen, we remember Sirianni used to call the plays, and then he smartly gave it to Steichen halfway through the season, and things turned around. I'm just saying, whatever Sirianni does, now that he has Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio in the house, this can all work again, just like it did 2 years ago, because Howie fixed some things on defense, brought in some help, especially in the back four, back seven. I think that things are going to change in Philadelphia. And I think the defense was so much of a bigger problem last year. And if Hurts decides to run, then it's all coming back.
Okay, well, yeah, the Miami Dolphins also brought in Vic Fangio because they thought that he was going to cure everything, and it didn't happen. So just to pencil in, and I respect the hell out of Fangio, but to expect that it's just going to go swimmingly and awesomely, first let's see it. And then the second part, because you're also going to be relying on a lot of rookies to be playing some really big moments, which, listen, the Chiefs did, and so maybe it'll work for the Eagles. I just think you have one guy who's making $220 million, and you have one guy who's being asked, what do you do around here? And the fact that Nick Sirianni, I just think that the Eagles can kind of treat coaches like tissues.
Yeah, that's how they do it. I mean,
he'll be the first coach fired. That's what I said.
Yeah, but they never, even Carson Wentz killed Doug Peterson. Obviously, the two of them didn't talk. But I don't think they fired, I can't remember. They didn't fire Peterson mid-season, did they? So the other thing, too, like this, it just doesn't make sense. The Eagles cannot. In the NFC East, the Eagles should not be so bad that they have to fire their coach midseason. Last year was awful, but it was all on the coordinators to me. I mean, they were terrible. I'm no X and O expert, but I could tell their offense was predictable. Hurts didn't want to run, and the defense just, Sam Howell was treating them like they were the worst team in the league. Everybody was completely torching them. So the 10-1 was kind of phony. They beat the Chiefs, and that was exciting. But last year, everyone knew the wheels were coming off. I think that they upgraded majorly with these coordinators in a huge way. Sean Desai and Johnson were just not ready for the jobs.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, I can't argue with you there, but
my argument that Sirianni never did anything 2 years ago is not the strongest.
Yeah, it doesn't really bode well for him. It seems, maybe last year was a perfect storm. I just think if you don't respect a guy's football acumen, and then I think that's really hard to win back. And I think also Sirianni basically coming in to try to change play calls, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown changing play calls. Like, I think it's the moment that adversity hits, people revert back to, hey, this is what got me here. Yeah. This is what I know. And we saw with the Eagles last year, you don't have to have adversity doesn't mean losing necessarily. Adversity is happening behind the scenes, and they were all hated each other at 10-0, and look at what happened. You did pay the price, or they all couldn't get along, and you ended up paying the price. And now the expectations are bigger, by the way, because I think the Cowboys people are off of because they just can't do this anymore. We'll see what happens with the Commanders. The Giants we think are not going to be very good. Like the Eagles' Super Bowl expectations are right there, and
Well, they can't be bigger than last year. Last year, they were the favorite coming in. I mean, they were coming off a very close Super Bowl win. I think their expectations are actually a little lower because last year, think about it, everybody was picking the Eagles, and they should have. They were coming
off a Super Bowl loss, though. We kind of know that can linger.
Well, I mean, the odds were definitely better last year. They were co-favorites coming into last season. Now I think they're third or fourth. There's no,
because after this article, there's no shot I'd put $5 on the Eagles. Like, no way.
Well, did anything change your opinion in this article?
Yes.
You said everything you said about Sirianni, you said before. What do you do around here? You've been saying that about Sirianni for 2 years.
Well, because it was an all-time question to be asked at a press conference. But I just think that I didn't realize that Jalen Hurts was changing plays. I didn't realize that he had tuned him out. I didn't realize that they couldn't talk to each other without a third person there. I guess I didn't realize the depth of it because I always wondered, why couldn't Jason Kelsey have, help this? And why couldn't Brandon Graham help this? And why couldn't Fletcher Cox come in and change the vibes? And you do have all these veterans. Why was the locker room so bad? And now I understand why.
Well, they cited this change of play. It was in a game where Sirianni on 3rd and long called for a run. That was the play they were talking about. They won that game. Sirianni was right. I mean, why would Jalen was going to take a sack on a pass play? I don't even understand this article. Like, first of all, Hurts was way glorified in this. They did point out Hurts is not a communicator, does not talk to other people, anybody.
All right, we're going to have to leave the Eagles conversation there for just a moment. Andrew Bogish does have headlines for us. Good morning, Bo.
Good morning, and because I still sometimes want to be Pearl's bestie, I tried to watch his beloved breaking in Paris. If it's never in the Olympics again, it'll be too soon, but we'll always have Raygun, Australian B-girl Rachel Gunn.
Raygun giving us some interesting transitions and concepts.
Those concepts included kangaroo hopping, the sprinkler, and a headstand, which got Raygun a...
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
The internet responded as if Raygun had said Noah Lyles celebrated too much for winning by a chest hair. Australian Olympic Committee boss Anna Mears did not appreciate that.
What I can say is that I love Rachel, and I think that what has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing.
Especially since Raygun is a trailblazer.
In 2008, she was locked in a room crying, being involved in a male-dominated sport as the only woman, and it took great courage for her to continue on and fight for her opportunity to participate in a sport that she loved. And that got her to winning the Olympic qualifying event to be here in Paris. She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
They might want to start some grassroots breaking dance programs before LA 2028, if that is the case. Anthony Richardson played for the Colts yesterday for the first time since last October's shoulder injury. 4 passes, 2 completions, 25 yards, and a 1-yard run.
Just being able to put my uniform back on and being able to go back out there in front of the fans and all the supporters, it's a blessing because I know I definitely missed it last year a lot, just running out there and just being back on the field. So this is another, step in the journey, and hopefully I get to take some more.
Richardson and Jonathan Taylor only on the field for 2 snaps last season for various reasons. JT got 2 carries for 4 yards in this 34-30 loss to the Broncos. The Mariners finished their 3-game destruction of the Mets 12-1 on Sunday Night Baseball. They sweep by a combined score of 22-1. Seattle remains in a virtual tie with Houston atop the AL West. Rangers righties Max Scherzer and Nathan Eovaldi are back in Texas for further medical evaluation. Scherzer's been out since the 2nd with shoulder fatigue. He will not come off the IL when first eligible. And Eovaldi left Saturday's start against the Yankees with right side tightness. And finally, Matt Kuchar sucks. The veteran golfer decided he could not play his second shot on 18 yesterday at the Wyndham Championship because of darkness. This is the final hole of the event. Every other golfer, including his 2 playing partners, finished the final round, but Kuchar will come back by himself this morning to finish on his own. Aaron Ray's the winner no matter what. Kuchar's playing only for prize money here. He cannot move up into the FedEx Cup playoffs, which are about to begin. Guys, back to you.
Bogish, I will not stand for this Raygun slander. She's awesome. All that made my weekend. The Australian breakdancer, the memes about how every time your 2-year-old kid wants to get in the bed and acts like Raygun, it was awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, here's the thing about Raygun. It was a little too familiar for people like me. white women, because I've seen this before when it's your birthday, your bachelorette party, all, rolled into one. It's a Friday night. You just got paid. All these things, everything's going your way. The guy you like texted you back, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden someone hands you 2 shots of tequila.
Yep.
And here you go. And your favorite song comes on.
Yep.
And I've seen this before because I have friends who have done this.
Oh, yeah. I was upset. I thought the American got robbed in breaking. Oh, boy.
This was one of our favorite events. And actually we're excited because we get a special guest today. Michael Rubin, the CEO and founder of Fanatics, is here with us. Fanatics Fest is happening in New York City. This is coming up very, very soon, August 16th through the 18th. We were supposed to do this tomorrow, but thanks for doing it today.
Well, I appreciate it. The commute was very long. I walked about 6 feet to get here, so I appreciate you guys having me live.
Well, we need, by the way, full disclosure. I'm a Lower Merion High School graduate. I know you went to Plymouth Whitemarsh, I believe, right?
Well, first of all, I barely graduated high school, so at least you graduate probably with honor and distinction. I, slipped through.
Right. Maggie's been saying mean things about the Philadelphia Eagles. That we're just not going to accept that for this interview, right? I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, she just doesn't get it.
Here, can you put your microphone just a little bit closer to make sure everyone can hear exactly
I can do exactly as I'm direct. I'm very good at taking direction.
So Michael Rubin is here. We want to talk to you about Fanatics Fest. This is very cool. You're basically creating this thing that doesn't exist in our world, which is this big convention and a place for people to come, share ideas, memorabilia. You've got all of your famous friends are going to be here and athletes who are going to be doing panels and all of that. How did the brainchild for this come to fruition?
It really came from going to the National, which is an incredible trading card show. I just came from there a few weeks ago. It was in Cleveland this year. It was in Chicago last year. It gets like almost 150,000 people. And from one sense, you walk in there, you're like, this is absolutely amazing. There's 150,000 people here that are all diehard collectors. And you respect, how much they love the hobby and how much, they all gather together for the show. Then you look around, you're like, but it looks like it's like in 1980 or 1990 when I was a collector in middle school. It hasn't really changed a lot. And so, I went to that for the first time in modern times 3 years ago. And then I came back and I went to Comic-Con in New York City. You go to Comic-Con, it was very modern. Everyone's dressed in full, Comic-Con did different, crazy uniforms and outfits and costumes. And I thought to myself, how do I kind of make a Comic-Con of sports? And so I did what I normally do. I just said to someone in my office, find the guy who runs Comic-Con in New York, get him in my office to see me. And I said, hey, it's great to meet you. Congratulations. You're going to come join Fanatics and you're going to run Fanatics Fest. And so that's really how it came, was really going to the National, this trading card show with 150,000 people and saying, incredible, but we could do something that's different and kind of a lot more modern, and then looking at Comic-Con and saying we could do it. And look, if you really think about it, other than sports, every industry has giant kind of conventions. Like, think about Comic-Con. 250,000 people come to Comic-Con in New York City each year. If any of us live in New York City, when Comic-Con's going on, you see everyone walking down the streets in the costumes. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Okay, music festivals. We've all been to music festivals. Great gatherings. South by Southwest, incredible. There's nothing like that in sports.
Well, Super Bowl week is a little bit, but that's another thing that you're kind of modeling it after.
Yeah, look, Super Bowl does have that, obviously geared 100% toward the NFL. And what we want to do is take the best of each sport and bring it into Fanatics Fest. So you're going to see a combination of what do they have best of the Super Bowl or the MLB All-Star Game or the NBA All-Star Game brought into Fanatics Fest. So the NFL will be there with a big exhibition. You'll be able to run the 40-yard dash, see all the Super Bowl rings and Lombardi trophies. And by the way, we're going to have the amount of athletes that are coming to this is insane.
Run through it for us. And let me just reset again. If you're just joining us, Michael Rubin is here with us in studio. This is a great surprise. CEO and founder of Fanatics, and you are a former part owner of the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils, and you are kind of.
But I hear you're not really a Philly fan, so
no.
I do bleed for the Sixers.
I've been sitting next to him and our former boss Spike Eskin, of course. This was a big Philly office for a while, but you're living like sports fans' dreams. Like, if you follow Michael Rubin on any of your social channels, you're best friends with Tom Brady. You get to have all these professional athletes to your massive white party in the Hamptons. Like, for people who think, wow, what would it be like to be a billionaire and a massive sports fan? You are the living embodiment of that. How How's the reality to what we see on your social media? Are you really living this crazy sports fan life?
Well, let me say first, I do think I have the greatest, job on the planet. Like, I love doing what I do. What people probably don't understand is I legitimately do this 17 hours a day, 7 days a week, because I'm honored to do it. I love doing it. It's it couldn't be any more fun. So yes, is it a blast? Absolutely. I don't think most people can keep up with me from the grind perspective. I mean, I'm 52, which I feel like I'm 25, but I'm 52. I'm going to do this till I die. There's no chance I'm ever selling this company. There's no chance I'm ever going to do anything other than build Fanatics into the greatest and biggest and best company I possibly can. And we're just getting started. So that's the thing for me that's so exciting is, I really spent from 2011 until about 2019 or 20 working only in the merchandise category. We've now built our sports betting business, the whole collectibles business. And I think there's so much we can do to be better at everything we do. And we recognize that, and we're working so hard to do that. And so I love it. And to really to work around so many great athletes, so many incredible sports fans, it's a real honor and a privilege to do it. So yes, it is great. But, people always see the public things. You see, I was kind of joking, I'm walking around Europe and everyone's coming up to me. I get asked probably in Paris, not even Paris, I was on a little bit of a European family vacation a few days before. I get asked for white party invites about 17 times per day, no matter what city in the world I'm in. So I think at this point, the white party may actually have, made me more known than Fanatics, which is not what I want to be known for. But it's an honor to do that too, because we bring so many people together. Like, why did I start the white party? It wasn't because I wanted to have the coolest party in the world. It's because I love bringing people together. And for a guy who barely made it out of high school, which I was just, again, I'm sure you made it out of Lower Merion very well. I legitimately, got a, 780 on my SATs combined. I missed 70 days my senior year of high school and barely made it out of high school. My superpower is probably relationship skills. And so I love bringing people together. And so when you see all these people from different backgrounds, whether it's the best athletes in the world, the best artists, the best business CEOs, and just great people and really good friends of mine who come together for the White Party or for Fanatics Fest, it's such an honor to bring people together. And that's really why I was so excited to do Fanatics Fest, because I thought we were uniquely positioned, the only company that could get everyone to come out to do this. I was just thinking about this. We have Tom Brady on Friday throwing passes to kids for an hour. Okay? Now,
Maggie and I will be there. Can you can we jump in the line? Or
by the way, I don't know who saw. I actually caught a pass on a jet ski from Brady on my first try, which is one of the most athletic things I've ever, could be actually the most athletic thing I've ever done in my life.
I credit Brady for that, though.
Well, it did hit me. It just hit me right in the chest. And I just had my arms there. And we were kind of wedged in between someone who was driving the jet ski. So it was kind of, hard for it to not stay in my hands. But you looked at me, I thought I was a 12-year-old who just won the Super Bowl. It was kind of a very childish reaction. I was so excited. But, to have like Brady there throwing passes on Friday, to have, when I was with KD at the Olympics, he said, hey, why don't we throw, because he knew Brady was throwing passes, why don't, him and Ant throw passes to kids in the NFL section on Saturday, and why don't we go do basketball with kids? I'm like, this is nuts. Like, Allen Iverson's going to be playing basketball with kids on Sunday. You've got this one I just heard. Drewski's going to be in the octagon. Now, I can't wait to. Drewski in the octagon. Wow. I can't wait to see.
That's going to be something.
That's going to be something. I'm not sure what he's going to do. But there's so many different crazy things. We have, I think, 200 different athletes coming to Fanatics Fest this weekend, which again it's pretty crazy to think about such a great gathering. So I think about our Super Bowl party, which is a pretty famous party. There's so many more people coming to Fanatics Fest than coming to our Super Bowl party.
We should reset 16th to the 18th. That's where it is in New York City, but you're doing this like up and down the East Coast. This has become like this thing.
Well, we're starting it. This is the first time we've ever done it. It's this weekend at Javits, August 16th through the 18th. If we accomplish what we want to, then we'll take it to the biggest cities in the world. I don't think we can do it that many places. I think we could probably only do this in New York, LA, maybe Chicago, but then could you do it in Paris? Could you do it in Brazil? Could you do it in Tokyo? Could you do it in China? So my goal would be to have this kind of be like Comic-Con, where it takes a life of its own and the biggest cities in the world do Fanatics Fest. But the test will be, do fans come through and say, we absolutely love this? Do all the athletes and celebrities and artists that come to this say, hey, it was worth taking did I love doing it? And then how is the social pickup for us? Like, we plan on breaking the internet. Oh, we have so many crazy stunts that nobody knows about planned for this weekend. So can we break the internet all weekend long?
Well, I mean, if anyone can do it, Michael, you can. Michael Rubin is here with us. He's the CEO and founder of Fanatics Fest. Again, this weekend in New York City. If you're going to be around, definitely go check it out. And thank you for stopping by. This has been a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here. It's fun to be with you guys.
We'll have to get into.
So can we get you to do like a Ghost Sixers? Should we work out like a Ghost?
I make her play the song after every victory.
Perfect. Should we should we sing one right now? Actually, I'm a horrible singer.
Let's do it.
Well, I have my own lyrics.
Okay, I want to hear you. I just want to hear your lyrics.
Dr. J, everybody, Mo Cheeks, and Bobby Jones. That's all
You're killing it.
This is your greatest fan right here. Are you sure you want to be associated with this?
Let's go. Sports fandom in every which way.
Michael Rubin, thank you so much. We know you're busy. You got to get out of here. We appreciate it. We'll see you this weekend at Fanatics
Can't
Fest.
wait.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Okay, that was Michael Rubin, former Sixers owner and Devils owner too, CEO of Fanatics, best friends with Tom Brady, White Party, the whole deal. We're back with more in just a moment. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie, great. Andrew Perloff's back from vacation. We're thrilled to have him. So Michael Rubin, the CEO of Fanatics, just dropped into the studio because you never know who's just going to be walking around the halls around here. Fanatics Fest is this weekend. You've always said, and he's a CEO of Fanatics and the founder, but was a former co-owner of the 76ers and the New Jersey Devils. You've always said you think sports ownership is like your number one thing you would want as a sports fan. I'm the exact opposite. Like, you just heard Michael Rubin saying, I'm grinding 17 hours a day. Like, it's not just fun. You get to be in the draft room, you know, in the war room on draft night. Like, there's so much more. There's so many more headaches that go into it.
Well, he was talking about building Fanatics, which is sort of a unique company, too, because they're doing more than just trading cards, whatever. They're doing everything now, gear, trading cards. His backstory is incredible. He's always been a hustler. He was selling used skis to start out in suburban Philly. We're right around the same age, and we're from the same place, and he's like a successful version of me. But he's funny. He's like, I'm sure you graduated high school. I barely did. It's kids out there listening, do like Michael Rubin. Don't concentrate on school. Start selling stuff. But regardless of that,
what a message.
I don't only want to be an owner. I want to be the owner GM Jerry Jones style. I'm going all in. I'm making the draft picks. I think that sounds like the most fun thing any human being can do on a planet.
Okay, but it doesn't work. Jerry Jones can't win a Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson. It doesn't work. See, that's the thing. You got to find the sweet spot here because, you know, if you're an owner, you can get attached to some of these guys. Hell, if you're a general manager, you can get attached to some of these guys.
I've thought about this in my fantasy owner world. I don't talk to the players for that very reason.
But don't you want to be friends with them and hanging out with them?
Like only after they retire, honestly. Or if it's like if it's Lane Johnson or somebody who's an offensive lineman who I know is going to retire as an Eagle, then I'll take him.
Wow, you only want to hang out with the offensive lineman.
I do. No, that relates. That's a real thing you're talking about. Like the owners can be friends with the players, but GMs cannot. I recently watched the movie Moneyball, and Billy Beane would not talk to the players very much because you got to cut them. By the way, total aside, did you see the other Billy Beane passed away?
I did see that. It was sad.
So many people. I was out in California. Everybody was talking about it because they originally thought it was Moneyball Billy Beane.
Yeah.
Regardless, I want to own a team, and I'm going to make it high end. I'm going to do it exactly like Jerry Jones. He's my model. Are you afraid of
your model?
Are you afraid of? I'm going to build a practice facility in Frisco, Texas. I'm going to do everything.
Oh man!
I'm going to do larger than life, be a celebrity. Now, Rubin, I think, is a celebrity because he did have an ownership stake in the 76ers. It raises your profile.
Absolutely. Sitting courtside. I mean, listen, there's some people I think it helps the team and there's other people it helps them. Like Jack Nicholson, you know, that he and the Lakers are kind of like one and the same, right? Because he's a famous actor.
Right.
But no, you sit courtside, you're going to get a lot of notoriety. And I think the other thing too was, you know, sort of teaming up to help with some like legislation in terms of like doing some advocacy work and philanthropy. I think that also helps raise your profile. And now he's to the point where, again, this Fanatics Fest is going to have Brady and Durant and Anthony Edwards and everybody is going to be there.
What's Jerry Jones's philanthropy? What you don't need that to raise profile. What the Johnny Blue Red Fund? What are you talking about? Johnny Walker Blue Red Fund? Yeah. No, there's no philanthropy. Owner is all you need, and I do.
No, they do the Salvation Army for the Cowboys. Remember, Ezekiel Elliott jumped in the.
That's what you got.
The thing.
I do think that you can use that ownership as a catapult, like Ruben did, to do other things. And Jerry has very much done that. He created Legends where they supplied food for other stadiums. Yep. So I do think there's actually business reasons to do it as well. Now, we knew when I was at Dan Pash Show, we knew a guy who was really rich.
Okay.
Could have bought a team. And I guess considered the Mets, but he was in the New York area and saw all the heat that the Wilpons got over the years. And I'm not sure. And he's like, wow, I do not want to be criticized 24 hours a day on local sports talk radio.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, you're going to get way famous, but you're also going to get criticized. To me, I wouldn't want to do ownership. I think that there is, and Jerry Seinfeld has said this because they always ask him about buying the Mets or Knicks or whatever, but I think there's a thing where sports is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
With a good seat, a good beverage if you're into that kind of thing, something good to eat, and you see a good game. I don't think, and maybe a high five from a player, an autograph, something like that. A photo. I don't think sports can get better than that. I think once you get to that level, now you're into the headaches of, did we sell enough season tickets? Did the fireworks display go off in the right way? How much more money do they need because we're going into free agency? I think there's a cap on, if you're a real fan, just how good it can get.
I disagree. I think the best moment is, it's Sunday night. You need 3 points in fantasy, and boom, Christian McCaffrey breaks a screen pass for 40 yards. Boo, you win. The thrill of victory. Have more invested in being an owner. You get to really feel the ups and the downs. So I think you could get higher than just sitting there with a beer. You can be invested. You could hold a trophy, Maggie.
I take that personally. To think that I don't go through the highs and the lows just because I don't own part of the team. This is why we're fans. I get the lows, believe me.
I think you take it to a new level when you actually get to hold a Lombardi trophy on the field afterward.
We will get to what we saw from one of our finest athletes next. It's Maggie and Perloff. Do not move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Captain Big Two at the helm with a flare, a joint in his hand, salt breeze in his hair. With first mate Andrew Bogusch rolling greens by his side, they navigate not for gold, but for a chill smoky ride. Oh, puff, puff, row, Big Two keeps it slow, laughing through the mist. Where do they even go? No medals to win, they've got their own high under the high seas Olympics, beneath the smoky sky. Big Zoo's laughter echoes over ocean waves so fast. Stay chill, steer easy, his motto from the past. Which way's the race? He chuckles, cloud of smoke in the air. Bogusch with a smirk, who cares when you're floating on air? Oh, puff, puff, row, Big Zoo keeps it slow, laughing through the mist. Where do they even go? No medals to win, they've got their own high under the high seas Olympics, beneath the smoky sky. Big Zoo's boat might wobble, but their spirits never dip. With every puff and giggle, they're on a fantastic trip. Olympics or not, they've won their own game. With a stash of good vibes, they enjoy their fame. Around them competition, but they're just in bliss. Big Zoo and Bogusch, nothing amiss. Through foggy spectacles, they see a different goal. In their Olympics of cool, they're on a roll. Oh, puff, puff, row, Big Zoo keeps it slow, laughing through the mist. Where do they even go? No medals to win, they've got their own high under the high seas Olympics, beneath the smoky sky. So here's to Big Zoo and his trusting mate Bogusch, in a league of their own, without any rush. The trophy is laughter, their medal pure joy. In the high seas Olympics, they're the real McCoy. fame. A random competition, but they're just in bliss. Thanks to a babush, nothing amiss. Through funky spectacles, they see a different goal. In the Olympics are cool, they're on a roll. Game with a stash of good vibes, they enjoy their fame.
Well, there's a guy we all know goes by the name CeeLo. He's got a bag of talents more than you can ever show. He can wrap up presents like a pro, nice and tight, with ribbons and bows, making everything just right. Oh, CeeLo, man of many talents, from wrapping gifts to cooking feasts, his skills are quite gallant. Singing songs and making joy wherever he might go. A multi-talented hero, the one and only CeeLo. In the kitchen.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
One of our finest athletes had their greatest moment in these Olympics, and it was Steph Curry. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Perloff is back from vacation.
Yay.
Glad to have you. And the Olympics and this basketball tournament really end up taking over. We'll get plenty of preseason football for you. Do not worry about that. We've got all those rookie quarterbacks covered. They were all very impressive in their debuts, for the most part. This was it for Steph Curry. And he was the one who brought this gold medal home for the Americans. It was a fantastic performance against Serbia, where he had 9 threes. He had 8 threes in this gold medal game against France. You had LeBron James and Kevin Durant watching Steph Curry go to work, him shooting over double teams. We've all seen this. When Steph Curry gets in the zone, there's no hotter player on planet Earth, maybe since Michael Jordan. So to me, this was his finest moment, and I don't think that's denigrating his legacy or poking holes in his accomplishments to say this was the best.
I can't go there because I think it's much harder to win an NBA title than winning gold for U.S. men's basketball because, first of all, they almost always win, and they should win.
Yeah, they're the favorites.
Yeah, they're the heavy favorites, and France was a good team, and Wembanyama is awesome to watch, but it wasn't a great team necessarily. Like, they should have beaten them. Winning an NBA Finals is hard for many reasons. One, because you have all the international players are joined with the American. Anyway, it's a much bigger challenge to me to win an NBA Finals. But I was thinking about this. What is Steph's other signature moments? I know there are big moments in the finals. Like, when I think LeBron's signature moment to me is the chase down block on Iguodala.
Right.
I don't, in my head, when I'm going to a big shot, I will agree with you. It might be that shot over the double team in the Olympics. I'm trying to think of another singular shot that jumps to mind. Do you have one?
Well, I think that he's got many, many game winners, but I think his real signing of the painting, if you will, like of the Van Gogh, would be what he did in the finals against the Boston Celtics. And listen,
you mean recently? They're 2022.
I think so, because that was his finals MVP. You go back to the first finals, the first championship they won. I mean, he was... Remember, Matthew Dellavedova had to go to the hospital afterwards. Now, granted, the Cavs were down some players, but he literally sent Dellavedova to the hospital. And Dellavedova was primarily guarding Steph Curry, and he tried to do an admirable job, but Curry was cooking him. And so I think that's one of them. And I think the 22 finals, and he was the guy who closed it out.
But if you go for one moment, one shot, it probably will be this, because I don't think Jordan has a few of them. LeBron has a couple of them. This one, I don't remember not that this was the last second one. I don't remember one like this.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some really great performances against the Rockets. He had memorable shots against the Portland Trailblazers that kind of snatched the soul. I know we're on in Portland right now. I don't want to bring up some bad memories, but I think that he has them. This, to me, though, is not just his greatest because the actual shot, the time and place, how he closed this game out. It's because he rose above all those other superstars in this moment, and he was the one they were looking to. And then on top of that, it's not embarrassing to lose an NBA Finals, right? It doesn't matter how it happens, what happens. You lose an NBA Finals, it's like, well, you got to the finals, you gave it your best shot, and then just see what happens. It would be embarrassing for the United States to lose a gold medal. It would have been embarrassing for them to lose to France. It would have been embarrassing for them to lose to Serbia. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. You are the favorite. They were favored by 16.5 points in the final, I believe, and 15.5 in the semifinal against Serbia. You have to win those games. And you know what? It was freaking close. And it was Steph Curry was the one who ultimately was responsible for those gold medals around the neck in that particular game. So to me, the fact that in the single elimination, not the best of 7 in a playoff game, a single elimination, and Steph Curry didn't actually have a great Olympics, but when it got to the medal rounds and the single elimination stuff, he was at his finest.
Yeah, but what you're saying is almost kind of sad. Like, they really need the fact that they needed Steph Curry to beat a team with Nick Batum. Trust me, I had Nick Batum on my Sixers last year, and the guy played admirably for a 36-year-old Frenchman who probably was eating croissants and smoking cigarettes.
I don't think so.
But it's just like Frankie Ntilikina, EJ's guy. I mean, this was not a great. It's not even a great international team.
Okay.
It was just a home team got kind of hot. I understand what you're saying. Like, they did need to win, but there's almost there's a little negativity floating around that. Like, really, they needed to try that hard to beat France?
Okay, here's the difference, though. I think that you have a lot of these national teams who know each other really well. The U.S. team kind of gets thrown together at the last minute because our best guys don't necessarily go to the FIBA World Championships and they don't play all the run-up stuff. So they really have about a month to gel. Look at Serbia. Those guys can read each other's minds. Same thing with France. Same with a lot of these other teams where it's the same guys who go through this Olympic cycle. It's not like the U.S. where all of a sudden LeBron, Steph Curry, and Durant, parachute in basically at the last minute.
Come on, though. We really need to put in this much effort as America to win the World Cup. I mean, I'm sorry, to win the gold here.
Yeah, because there's really other good players.
I don't know. It feels like this is all way too hard.
So you think Steph Curry, this isn't impressive?
Okay.
It's
last week you said
impressive.
Noah Lyles can't claim to be the fastest man on earth because he barely won the 100.
Yeah, one 1/1000th of a second.
Do you really come away from this weekend feeling great about what happened with the men's basketball team? I felt like they survived. And yes, it was great. Steph Curry, that was very cool in the last few minutes, but it wasn't a triumph to me necessarily.
See, I think it was a triumph for Curry. And here's the thing why I do think it was triumphant is because these guys are past their prime. I mean, we talked about it. There's no reason LeBron should be playing this well. Kevin Durant, we're lamenting how they're not going to be able, that this could be the last great thing they win.
But do it in the NBA. Don't do it against Nick Batum. Do it against the elite of the elite.
I don't know if they can because of the length of the schedule. I mean, think about it. These games, it's more of a sprint. They're only 40 minutes as opposed to 48. Like, there's a lot of ways that this actually sets up maybe for more of a veteran squad. Yeah. And I don't think there's a chance that these guys are going to win again. And that's sad, too, because they obviously can still play. You see Steph Curry, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. Let's just take those three. Clearly, they can play. Clearly, they're good enough to be number 1 or 1A on a title team. And that's not going to happen because they're all on separate teams. Maybe if they really were serious about winning again, maybe they would try to find a way to, get themselves to better teams. Not necessarily team up. I get that silly, but get themselves to better teams.
Yeah, but I mean, reality, okay. You look at this team. Jayson Tatum barely played. Who would you, if you're going to have a 7-game series right now, who would you want, Jayson Tatum or LeBron James?
I think I'm still going with LeBron.
I'm going with Jayson Tatum 101 times out of 100.
I know.
Jayson Tatum
Tatum's
will
great.
wear him
I get
down.
it.
And Jayson Tatum averaged like 30, 10, and 8. And no, to me, I
Why
want
couldn't
Tatum.
he get on the
Honestly,
floor?
I think, why couldn't he get on the floor here?
Yeah.
because it's an all-star game format and you have to choose certain players, but you can't play. I mean, Tatum is better than LeBron. He is right now. That's just a fact. That's a stone cold fact. Tatum is, and even in the warm-up games, like there were games where they were losing and Tatum would come in there and just shove a guy out of the way and dunk on them. Tatum's a better player than LeBron James right now. Oh my God.
I mean, yes, he is. Perloff, is he 15 years younger? I mean, how much younger
Yes, that's
is
all
he?
true. And by the way, Anthony Edwards is better than
Who's more
all these guys.
consistent, though? Because
Jayson Tatum.
I saw Anthony Edwards in the Serbia game, couldn't hit a big shot when it was time, and they didn't even trust Jayson Tatum to be on the floor. So if you can say
because they're idiots.
Well, they just won gold. So how idiotic are they?
They just won gold. They just went to the last minute against a mediocre France team. They took a bunch of Serbia wasn't good either. I mean, I saw those. I'm like, where are the pros on this Serbia team? It's Jokic and nobody.
Bogdanovic was amazing, and he's definitely a pro. See, here's the other part, though. It's like there's something about being really good and great and being a great player and about understanding this tournament, these stakes, and being able to deliver in those final moments. They gave Anthony Edwards a shot. They had to sit him
But
down.
they didn't get, because of the way the flow of the minutes went. I'm telling you, you give me a team with Jayson Tatum and Anthony Edwards, and you give me a team with LeBron and KD, who's coming out on top in a 7-game series? If you build your team,
series,
if you build your team around Tatum and Anthony Edwards, you would see the talent emerge. I do not think.
You might be right about that, but I just think that if Tatum was really blowing them away, I don't think that there's a conspiracy here. Like, I know Jaylen Brown thinks that Nike kept him off of this Olympic basketball team, and maybe he's right. I don't think there was a conspiracy against Jayson Tatum. I don't think anyone was freezing him out. I don't think this wasn't a Isaiah Thomas thing where they just might as well have left him at home or whatever. I just think he didn't break the rotation.
Because he came off if they had played him 25 minutes, he would have done the exact same thing. Whoever got started in the flow, like came in erratically. You can't get your flow as a star player. And I mean, and also, I think Kerr screwed that up. I think the rest of the Eastern Conference, like, dude, what are you doing? Do not make the Celtics mad. I mean, the Celtics are going to, I'm betting the over on that win total. Tatum and Brown are going to be furious next year.
And they are
really, really, really good.
So there's always this thing, we're talking about the men's Olympics basketball. We actually started this conversation with Steph Curry. Was this his greatest moment? And if it was, is that like a negative? Is that a knock on him to say that his greatest moment happened in the Olympics? Perloff says yes. I don't think so. You see how much this stuff means to guys like Jokic and Djokovic. Like, it's okay to be a stan for your country. It's okay to have pride in playing for your country and have this be a great moment and maybe your best one. You just brought up something, though, about what this does to the Celtics. Because there's always been that thing, there's rumors that for the first part of the season, it's hard for Tatum and Brown to get on the same page because they're both really trying to make the All-Star team. And once they make the All-Star team, then everyone kind of relax a little bit. It's like, all right, you've done what you need to do. I've done
what?
Lots of reporters in Boston have talked about this. But
weren't they really good the first half of last year?
Well, but before this year, where they all talked about how they had to put things aside and be unselfish.
That feels like a Maggie Gray conspiracy
Wait,
special.
just roll with me on this one. I couldn't have thought that up. This is reporting out of Boston. This isn't Machiavellian. You're right, though. They just won, and you always wonder, what's your motivation to back it up? Steph Curry's trainer always says, I hate coming off of years they win because it's harder to get Steph back in the gym, right? And that's Steph Curry, one of the hardest workers maybe ever. They just found their motivation. If they actually care about this stuff, this is the chip on the shoulder. Jaylen Brown getting snubbed from the team altogether and Jayson Tatum not being able to get off the bench.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, it's totally ridiculous. You say not being able to get off the bench. He wasn't able to get off the bench because the coach didn't put him into the game. It's not because Jayson Tatum's not awesome. This is totally an arbitrary choice to let the old guys have their glory and then let Tatum do it in 28, which is fine. Maybe Tatum did say he's going to play again. He's not mad or anything. Halliburton, poor Tyrese Halliburton, he came out actually looking kind of dopey to me.
He had the best tweet, I thought, of the Olympics, or one of them. He's holding up the gold medal, and he's like, when you did nothing in the group project and got an A.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be the forgotten guy on this Olympic team, but he's got the gold medal.
I just feel like next June we're going to be talking about Anthony Edwards. We're going to be talking about Luka Doncic. We're going to be talking about Jayson Tatum. And really, the three of those guys did nothing. Maybe we'll talk about Ja Morant. I don't know. But maybe there'll be a fourth guy. But like the win in the NBA Finals, it's a much more competitive field to come out in the NBA. It's a much different thing.
So you don't think this mattered for Steph Curry at all?
I'm not going to say at all, but if this is his greatest moment, that's kind of sad. I just don't think I don't think it is. Honestly, I don't think LeBron has a chance with the Lakers this year. I don't think that KD, I think KD's in a huge mess. I'm curious. I would like to see, Steph's still got a lot left in the tank. He's got this great organization, the Warriors. I'd like to see them try and figure out something, but I don't think he's going to do it again. I just don't know. I feel like to say this is his greatest moment denigrates the 4 titles.
The Warriors were trying this offseason. They tried for Paul George. Are they trying for Lauri Markkanen?
Well, now no one's getting. I wanted him too.
Well,
Lauri Markkanen.
Paul George is with your Sixers,
Yeah.
and Markkanen just signed this massive deal to stay with Utah. So
Yeah.
They
I know.
tried. I mean, the Warriors apparently were out there.
Can the NBA make some sort of gigantic salary cap exemption and get LeBron, KD, and Curry on some weird super team in Charlotte or something? It would be interesting to see. It is. Did you come away thinking, oh man, it's a waste that we don't get to see them? I mean, you just sort of said it.
Yeah, I thought I came away saying my 2 biggest things I came away with are, man, Kevin Durant really messed up by leaving. I think deep down he knows that. You couldn't have predicted how horribly it would go in Brooklyn with Kyrie, but boy, did he make a mistake. He should have stayed with Curry and Kerr and try to find a way to figure it out. Couldn't happen. And my other thing was I was really surprised that Steph Curry was still doing the night-night. I was surprised that Steph loves being the petty king. He says it. He claims to be it all the time. He doesn't run from it. It's Olympic basketball. I think the spirit of it is supposed to be a little bit different than your general trash talk that happens in the NBA. And so to do the 2 hands up against the side of the head, like I just put my opponents to sleep, I don't know. The Olympics, like, what are we doing? I think this is a time we're supposed to have a lot of sportsmanship. It's not supposed to be about that. I get it. Guys cheat in the Olympics. Everyone takes steroids. I understand it's not a perfect thing. It pretends to be. But maybe we leave the trash talk and the night-night at home.
Well, everybody was in character. I mean, LeBron had a bunch of turnovers in the 4th quarter and blamed the officials. That felt like regular season stuff to me.
Good job, LeBron.
855-212-4227. Okay, you are welcome to weigh in on any and all of this. We have a lot more to do, including whose stock is up and whose stock is down after a big weekend. We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Parasite, got a little drama with me, Cowley in the same Olympics rolling up, athletes ready to splash, but the water's got issues, gotta handle it. I'm kicking with Snoop, D-O-double-G on the beat. Paris got a problem, E. coli ain't discreet. Olympics coming fast, but the water's not deep. Gotta clean it up, make the competition sweet. Snoop's in the house and he's laying it down. In Paris where the river's supposed to wear the crown, but there's trouble in the water, yeah, it's going around while Peter Pilati's.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached
it's not going to waste. Andrew Bogusch is waiting, he's been oh so kind for that well-seasoned steak. It's been on his mind. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. Andrew Bogusch's been patient, but he's starting to drool, thinking about that steak. Oh, it's making him cool. Peter Bellotti, don't delay. It's time to make amends. Cook up that steak, and they'll be the best of friends. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. A dash of salt, a pinch of pepper, garlic and herbs, oh it couldn't get better. Sizzle on the grill, make it medium rare. Peter Bellotti, show Andrew you care. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. So let's end this saga with a juicy bite. Andrew Bogusch and Peter Bellotti, friends under the knife. With a steak well cooked, this story's complete. Peter Bellotti, your death is now sweet. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew bake that steak. Peter Bellotti owes Andrew Bogusch a steak, oh yes he does. Well, seasoned,
30 seconds
juicy,
remaining.
with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. A dash of salt, a pinch of pepper,
15
garlic and
seconds.
herbs, so it couldn't get better. Sizzle on the grill, make it medium rare. Peter Bellotti, show Andrew you care. Peter Bellotti,
Break ends
Andrew
in 5
Bogusch a steak,
seconds.
oh yes he does. Well, seasoned, juicy, with all the flavors he loves. It's time to fire up the grill, make no mistake. Peter Bellotti, it's time to bake that steak. So let's end this saga with a
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. I think we should do all Olympics theme for M&P 500 this week. Stock up, stock down. What do you think?
You're not going to put any of these rookie quarterbacks in?
Well, that's all. Obviously, no, they're priced too high right now. They're like NVIDIA.
Apple.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They're way too high. Can I start with my stock up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Breaking was awesome. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a gigantic Breaking fan. The American guy, Victor, his dad saw the movie Beat Street, just like I did in 1985, and decided breaking is the coolest thing ever. It's basically the floor routine for gymnastics. These guys are and women are incredible athletes. I was 100% blown away by the moves they were doing. I thought it worked out great. I understand. I don't think it's in the 28 Olympics. I think it might be coming back for 32. I thought it was a gigantic hit, and it was really cool.
I'm with you. I thought it was super entertaining,
Yeah.
and I thought the athleticism is like obvious. You know, to say like, oh, it's not a sport. It's not a sport. It's like it. If you're gonna put rhythmic gymnastics in, like we're really gonna be so precious and not put breakdancing in. Clearly, these people are doing something that regular humans can't do.
They look like gymnasts because they're kind of little guys mostly. They can fly. They're all in great shape. The Canadian guy was so funny. The Canadian breaker won, and in typical Canadian fashion, he felt bad about it. He's like, "I'm so sorry I beat you in this." He was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He was the nicest guy. He was also incredible. The guys had they were basically jumping off their heads. It was the most amazing thing.
My stock up is going to, this is also at the Olympics, so good thing I was ready for this. There was a gold medal match, beach volleyball. It was Canada against Brazil. And it got really chippy and the women were kind of like beefing with each other, pointing at each other, and like it didn't come to blows, but like maybe. So while this is happening and they're working it out with the umpire, the DJ in the venue starts playing this.
Only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
So that's brilliant, by the way. Everyone started singing it. Vibes back on track, because you really can't have like people harshing the vibe, Pearl, at a beach volleyball event. Like, that's the party of the Olympic events.
Okay.
Beach volleyball is where, I mean, everyone's, buns out, guns out, everyone's having fun. You can't it can't get weird at the beach volleyball
It's not
event.
Top Gun. There weren't guys in jeans and no shirt playing.
In my Olympics, there are.
Right.
They played John Lennon's Imagine, and everyone got back on track. Kudos to that guy, that DJ, stock up.
All right, that was good. All right, stock down. You guys are just letting me let it sit there, and I know it's a bigger topic and might not fit here. But what the heck is going on with Jordan Chiles' bronze medal? This is insanity. She was stripped of her bronze because America basically had them do a review of her routine because there was something wrong about her technical difficulty, and it upped her score, and she went from 5th to 3rd.
Yep.
And
Crazy
now,
moment when it happened.
Yeah, and now the IOC says that the request for a review was too late, and they took it away from her. And I guess all the appeals are basically over now, and she's not going to get it back. That's my understanding of where we left it.
Well, the crazy part is it's not because the U.S. was wrong about the appealing on the technical aspect. They were right, but you have 1 minute to make the appeal, and they're saying that it happened with 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Which the U.S. is contested, by the way.
Right. U.S. said it happened with 40 seconds, 47 seconds. I mean, what are we doing here? Just give everyone the bronze. Just give out multiple bronzes.
Okay.
That's what I would do. I mean, but I'm kind of a participation trophy kind of person, but still, like,
I don't know if you give out multiple bronzes. That's kind of weird, but
I think we should just give out multiple bronzes.
No.
You want to take this away from Jordan Chiles out of a technicality? She worked this hard, Pete.
Shouldn't
Come
take
on.
it away from that. That's go down the IOC route again.
Wait, what's that?
I know, but
We're not giving out 2 bronze medals.
But I don't want the Romanian girl not to have one either, and Jordan Chiles.
Give them all medals. give them all something.
Well, she did. Okay, one thing I felt to lose a medal would be terrible, but she did win the team gold, right? So she has
this is
a
her
medal.
only individual medal.
I understand, but at least she has a medal. This could be a bigger disaster. You saw there was somebody in I don't have the name in the where did you jump? The hurdles who fell in the last hurdle and was going to win the silver, and like that's the worst. If you walk away with no medals, that's terrible. So at least she has a gold, and she was on the Today Show. She's a big star.
Person should have won the silver award. Give him another medal.
Give out 4 bronzes.
Yeah, I think for anyone that doesn't medal, give them like a big pretend medal that's made of chocolate.
Yeah, participation.
Participation chocolate.
Congrats on being here.
Right.
I think they get a poster.
Oh, that's all. I played in the Olympics, and all I have is this poster.
And
By the
all
way-
those condoms we were talking about, I mean, those are free.
That's true.
But in reality, Jordan Chiles made her name, and this bronze did not change anything. She's already kind of a star.
Yeah, but for her, I mean, the trappings of having a medal
She's got a gold.
in the team comp.
I know, but a bronze. Yeah, but honestly, what you put first in your house? The gold medal for one of the greatest Olympic teams of all time, or the bronze in the floor exercise? The bronze is in the side room.
The side room. This is the M&P 500. We're doing stock up, stock down. My stock down, we actually were just talking a little with basketball. Jayson Tatum's mom. Listen, I am a mom. I get wanting to defend your kid, but Jayson Tatum's mom went to social media saying it's unacceptable, makes no sense. I mean, would she say this to Coach K? You're definitely not. Your son is a grown man.
Oh,
He's making $300 million. He made the team. He's got the gold medal. He played 11 minutes in the game. He couldn't hit the ocean. He's doing fine. I get the mom's instinct because I'm a mama bear too, and I understand it. But this is a time when you got to show a little restraint, and you got to let the coaches do their thing. And your son is the big winner in life and just won the NBA title. So let's maybe stop with the tweets. Because this was not the big embarrassment that everyone is making it out to be.
I totally disagree, and I'm with Jayson Tatum's mom. And just in general, I'm with Jayson Tatum's mom. I mean, this guy he just was dominant in the playoffs. He was great. I know he didn't win this Finals MVP.
He has a goal, just like Jordan Chiles. You said she's got the team.
No,
won.
it was embarrassing that Steve Kerr didn't play more. I did not like it. I thought it was weird.
Do you think
he's Jayson Tatum.
Think Jayson Tatum's mom would have said this to Coach K?
I don't care if she would have said it. She's right about this, and probably, yeah.
Do you think she calls Brad
moms
Stevens and Joe Mazzulla and says,
wait, what? So
well,
you're
that's
saying
a problem. Then you have to tell your mom, I get your instinct, but you got to back off.
But any mom would do that.
Yeah, but it's embarrassing for your son.
I thought Kerr was off in many ways. I didn't understand this Tatum.
Remember when CeeDee Lamb's mom was calling out Dak Prescott on Facebook? Like, it's not a good look.
Well, it's not like Tatum's telling his mom to say it.
I know, but still, you got to say it. Listen, my mom wants to come to my defense when people say mean things about me. I get it. But this is what comes with the territory. And by the way, Jayson Tatum doing pretty great for himself. Like, he's doing all right. And he's got the gold.
Like I said, it's not like he's telling his mom, hey, mom, go say this. I'm not getting in the game.
So wait, nobody here had an issue with Steve Kerr's use of Jayson Tatum?
No.
That's
EJ
crazy.
did. I did not. And this is... My whole thing was, who cares? Like, you won the gold medal.
Because it's a gold medal. Who cares about the gold medal? This is like pride.
You did 45 seconds ago.
I'm just
then
saying.
he shouldn't play then.
Well, no. You're America. You could play People Lottie at 4 and win the gold medal.
Clearly
This
not.
is a matter of pride here.
Pete's terrible at basketball.
This is an exhibition game. You're telling me all of a sudden you have to bench Jayson Tatum for a whole games just to win? That's insane.
Perloff, if they had lost, what would you be saying?
He's Jayson Tatum. They weren't going to lose.
Jayson Tatum's lost plenty of games.
They really almost lost Thursday.
They almost lost to Serbia.
Yeah, they really almost lost Thursday, and I'm confused as to why he didn't play it. I don't understand how you play a game without him getting involved. But we've gone past, and here maybe I'm now leaning towards EJ. We've gone past you can put Pete at the 4 and win, because they almost lost with LeBron and Curry and KD fully engaged against Serbia.
Apparently, it sounded weird when you said, I'm with Jayson Tatum's mom.
All together? That's it.
Again.
In general, I'm with her, is what you said.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I meant I support Jayson Tatum's mom. Listen, I rooted for a Philadelphia Eagles team where the McNabbs, Donovan McNabb's mom was basically, you could see her going down on the field and yelling at Andy Reid to call this play. I'm used to this stuff, but come on, there's no reason Kerr shouldn't have at least given him 5 minutes. I mean,
he played 11 minutes in the gold medal game.
The DMP him in games like this is embarrassing. I thought he was honoring the old guys when he should have just played everybody.
Well, they won. So how much can you
What
really
they
nitpick?
won? Of course they won. This is Team USA basketball.
They
this
lost
is
in 04, Perloff. Larry Brown's team lost.
I mean, they won. Oh, they won. You really think that's what this was about?
No, they won a bronze, which
no, I'm just saying, like,
nothing.
Winning a gold is not all that matters here. They should have. Don't put him on the team if you're not going to play him. It's embarrassing, and he's going to make them pay come next year. Because Jayson Tatum is a better player than LeBron James. He's a better player than Kevin Durant.
What else matters besides winning a gold?
This is an exhibition tournament. Yes, it is. This is an exhibition game. You beat it. I mean, look at that France lineup they beat. They need to really practice to beat that team. These are not star NBA players. They're beating a scrubby team with Wembanyama.
Well, first of all, keep disrespecting Wembanyama. You're going to be driving
back
and forth to San Antonio.
A scrubby team with Wembanyama.
It's going to be a shuttle.
It's Wembanyama, Nick Batum, and Evan Fournier. They can't.
And Frankie Smokes.
Well, if we play Jayson Tatum, then Evan Fournier is going to take us out. What are we doing here?
Well, no, he played that game.
Yeah, he was in that game. This is where I'll disagree with you. It's not an exhibition, and it's not an all-star game because there is something on the line, and it's winning a gold. And if we are going to say this is the one thing that matters, and however you get to the end of it, that's it's the results over the process in this way. And winning is the most important thing because there actually is something at stake here.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure everyone plays. It's not the NBA All-Star game. It's not where everyone gets to take a turn. There actually are rotations, and they stuck with them.
Do you think that I could create it if you took the starting 5 or the finishing 5? Do you think I could create another team that could beat that team? Because I think I could.
This is from our very own Andrew Kaplan, who's in our chat. Diehard Celtics fan, by the way. So just to let you know, there's no bias here. This isn't one of our various Knick fans in the room. Tatum was terrible from the moment he got to Team USA. And he's right.
No. That's not true. In the exhibition games, I saw a bunch of like really strong play from Jayson Tatum. When he had time to get into the flow, that is Cap, you're wrong.
Listen, this is a 40-minute game where you don't have time. Steph Curry was bad from three, and they almost like they were blowing teams out at that point, but it was noticeable. So listen, I don't have a problem with any of it, and I think Tatum and his mom really, it's got to be over. EJ, I know you want to get in on this for a second, but hold on. Let's get to some headlines because we want to make sure we update everyone on what's going on from the weekend. What's up, folks?
Let me actually start with Tatum. One last thing about this. He said whatever went down in Paris is not going to affect his decision about playing for Team USA in LA in 2028. The quote is, "It is 4 years from now, and I'd have to take time and think about that, so I'm not going to make any decision based on how this experience was or how I felt individually." Now, he could have said, "I'll be there if they pick me." He at least said, "I'm not going because of this." I mean, he could have been a little more forceful in his, "I'll be there if they want me." He said, "I'm just not going to do anything just now and let my being PO'd lead me to say or do anything I'm going to regret."
I know, what about country over yourself, for the greater good?
Oh, come on. This is a giant Nike commercial. It's not like you're enlisting. I mean, this is Team USA basketball, whatever.
Fellow Celtic Derek White did not play in that gold medal game, by the way. Tyrese Halliburton got 3 DNPs during this event, and Joel Embiid did sit out a game during the group stage. Apparently, there was a baseball game last night in Seattle. In fact, there were 3 games there this weekend. The home team won them all.
Last time up. Swing and a drive. Deep to right center. That baby's way gone. Big Cal. Another 2-home run performance. He drives in 3, and the Mariners have blown this baby wide open.
Whatever, Dave Sims on Mariners Radio. Cal Raleigh, 2 homers, 5 RBI, and a 12-1 rout of something called the Mets. The Mariners a 3-game sweep by a combined score of 22-1. Seattle's won 4 straight. They and the Astros still in a virtual tie atop the AL West. Red Sox center fielder Jarren Duran's apologizing for some heinous comments during yesterday's 10-2 loss at home to the Astros. In the 6th inning, a fan behind home plate was heckling Duran during his at-bat, and Duran eventually yelled at him, "Shut up, you bleeping," and then used a homophobic slur. You could hear it on the telecast. Nothing happened to Duran in the moment. He apologized post-game, saying he used a horrific word and, quote, "fell far short as a person." The Red Sox say they addressed the situation internally.
Wait, do you know, I heard this morning what the fan was saying?
Yeah, you need a tennis racket because he was swinging and missing.
Yeah, great line.
Yeah.
And then Duran had to go and ruin it by being a jerk.
Could he have gotten thrown out for that? No, Duran. Should the home plate umpire have thrown him out of the game for something like that? Not just responding, which I actually think you just can't verbally respond with anything in that situation.
Did the umpire hear?
Yes, I mean it was. Yeah. I mean, I would think so. It was on if the TV broadcast picked it up. It had to be loud enough for the umpire to have heard it.
You know what? Unfortunately, they probably say there's probably a lot of stuff said down there that the umpires let it go in one ear out the other.
I think so. Did Kobe say something once, and did he get a technical foul for it?
No, he got punished by the league later on.
Punished by the league later on.
But it wasn't in the game, I don't believe.
Now, the Red Sox or Major League Baseball should implement a punishment.
Totally. They could fine him for it. See, that's the one thing about the umpires. Besides kicking someone out of the game, you can warn both benches, right? Or you can warn somebody, and then you can eject them. They don't really have anything else. There's not like a personal foul, that you could call.
I think they should suspend them.
I think
they probably will.
I think in game there's a lot going on. There's a lot being yelled back and forth. I think that'd be a lot to put on the umpires to try and sort through that and suspend them in the moment.
I think, and this is an arbitrary line, the difference to me is he's yelling it at a fan. If you're yelling it dugout to dugout, pitcher to batter. I mean, we had a batter. I mean, a pitcher the other day remind a hitter that he got arrested for servicing himself in a parking lot at one point. Like, so like if it's player to player, if it's player to player, there is still some word that should get you in trouble. But if it's player to fan and that's the word you use, I would have no problem with the umpire throwing out of the game.
Yeah, you never do that to the people that are paying your salary. You never do that in general. Period.
So it looks like Kobe was fined $100,000.
I agree with Pete. Do it afterwards, though. I think if you start getting it, also too, you have to be very careful that the players feel like they have like their own space. Like that's important too. I mean, if the players feel like the fans are on top of them and getting out of line, like you got to respect the players.
But this person said you couldn't hit that with a tennis racket. That's not exactly like the harshest diss, you know. I think when fans say bad things like racial slurs and homophobic slurs that way, it's got to be a two-way street. You can't make someone feel uncomfortable like that. But that's, to me, normal, sort of within the bounds to say you couldn't hit that with a tennis racket. That's not something that deserves the slur back. Nothing deserves
Oh, of
that.
course not. But, you know, one thing, too, by the way, you think Jayson Tatum's popular in Boston. This Durant kid, oh, my God. I was just, my in-laws are Red Sox fans. That guy walks on water. They're so excited about him. He's so good. Is he slumping or something?
He didn't play well Sunday. I don't know what his overall deal is.
But anyway, it's funny at Boston, like he's a god already in Boston because they've rebuilt that team out of nowhere really fast. Regardless, so that is no excuse or no reason. But the funny thing in the NBA, I feel like the NBA, like if you were yelling, the fans are right next to the players. Like it's really hard to monitor those interactions. I mean,
the players asked to get people kicked out all the time.
All the time. I mean, when EJ and I were front row for that game, it was incredible. I was basically shaking hands with Josh Hart. The interactions were so intense that I don't think the officials can get in there in real time, Bogues, and just do anything about it because that's asking them way too much.
The other part, what if there's curses like that in different language? Which I think we've actually encountered that before.
Mexico soccer has a chant that's like that, and they get in trouble all the time, and it doesn't stop.
Well, then if you do this, if the umpire handles this, then they have to handle every infraction involving this. So then you're asking the umpires to take their minds away from the gameplay to focus on that stuff.
I mean, they can't even handle just the game.
Right.
Yeah, but I also think it's safe to assume that there's not like a lot of instances where a player is yelling something like this into the stands.
That's true. Look, I think there should be. I'm on the side of more punishment on this than anything.
Yeah.
So.
Ravens stud safety Kyle Hamilton went down late in practice yesterday with a left leg injury, eventually limping off on his own. John Harbaugh then said all initial tests were good, but more imaging was coming today. And an update on that Matt Kuchar story I mentioned last hour. He just parred his final hole at the Wyndham Championship to remain tied for 12th, so he made everybody wait overnight to finish the event to not move up at all and earn any more prize money. Thanks for playing, Matt.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Well, glad we got to the bottom of that story, Bogush. Thank you so much. Coming up, lots more to do and what we saw in what was the first weekend of preseason action in the NFL. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Time for the Cowboy Quickie. Little update for you on the Dallas Cowboys, and that was Dak Prescott dealing with an ankle injury that popped up on Friday. They're not practicing today, and I believe he will be back on the field tomorrow, Perloff. He wasn't going to play the preseason this game anyway. But again, Dak Prescott in a boot. This is life now. I think we just have to get used to it. Some of it precautionary, some of it not. But obviously, Dak's future with Dallas, it's always a little bit of something. And that's your Cowboy Quickie.
So Friday morning when they pulled him out, everybody was speculating on Twitter, oh, Steven's not here, Jerry's not here, Will McClay, who runs the team, isn't here, and Dak's not here. Everyone's like, oh, they're in a room, they're getting the deal done. Jerry was probably just 15 minutes late to practice. And then it was the most disappointing day because everyone thought the deal was going to happen because it's still floating out there. Now you have to ask yourself, Maggie, do you pay all this money for a guy who is getting a little older and has an ankle injury because it's there? I know this was cautionary, but it's definitely there. And Dak's at his best when he's actually running and throwing. I don't know if we ever see that version of Dak again.
Maybe not. I mean, the injury that he had a couple years ago was so gruesome and missed the rest of the season, but he still is a great quarterback and actually has gotten better with Mike McCarthy and at his best statistical year last year, and that's why he was runner-up for MVP. So he's obviously managing it okay, but there's always, you're always thinking about that when you have a quarterback north of 30, aren't you? I know Brady and Rodgers have skewed this sort of thing.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Dak's injury was gruesome, and I'm not sure it was Brady had an ACL tear, but I don't know. You didn't have it with Brady. What do you have with Rodgers?
What's that?
I mean, you didn't have it with Brady. You didn't really have it for Rodgers from 30 to 40. I don't think you were having like this. I mean, remember with Dak's injury, it was one of the worst injuries we've seen in NFL history. I don't think I know Brady tore his ACL, but I don't think it was the same thing.
No, I'm talking about now we expect guys to play until they're 40.
Right.
Normally, when you're in your 30s and the injuries start building up, we start like raising an eyebrow about a guy. Like, is he going to be able to hold up?
Right, that's what we're saying with Dak.
Yeah, this is why it's concerning.
Yeah. I think like Dak is definitely seems more, not injury risk necessarily, but a guy who's had more wear and tear for his age than some of these other guys. And also, he's been a much more mobile quarterback than Tom Brady. So who knows? I just think it's interesting. He's about to maybe sign even if he doesn't do it with the Cowboys, he's about to sign a 4 or 5 year deal. Is he really going to last and be healthy?
Great question. More on Cowboy camp. So last week, Jerry Jones was acting really kind of silly almost. We played you the clip last week where he talked about, there's no urgency to get CeeDee Lamb's deal done. And they're like, well, why? And remember he had that weird line. EJ, you'll remember this. He said, and I just ate at Nobu yesterday. And because I went to high school and I went to college. And I was like, is Jerry like having a heat stroke? What is going on? And now yesterday he acknowledged, probably shouldn't have said that.
I think I got in trouble a little the other day when I said, look, we're not urgent about CD. Well, no one appreciates CD being on the field any more than I do. But let me say this, he wouldn't be taking a snap out here today.
Yeah, so is there more from Jerry here? Okay, let's play the next one.
There's not that urgency. Now, I understand completely the angst that's happening when you are anxious about and someone says anything about whether you're missed or not. Well, CD, you're missed, okay? But you're not missed out here competing, and it doesn't put any pressure any place on us.
Yeah, right. So basically what Jerry's saying there, because I think I do speak fluent Jerry now, which is he wasn't going to play in the preseason anyway. So they're not missing him right this second. He doesn't have to be out there competing in training camp. They know what he can do. He doesn't have to be there for the preseason. That's fine. This is also like when you catch your boyfriend or girlfriend in a lie. It's like, no. What I meant to say was I was going to text you back right now, not later. It sounds like I'm covering my tracks. He said urgency. Oh, no, I meant urgency in this preseason game. No, I think what Jerry really meant was urgency this year, like this season. I do think they're actually going to wait and not sign CeeDee Lamb maybe till next year.
Wait.
Everything is said. Everything's pointing to that.
I was confused by Jerry, and now you've furthered my confusion. So what did he mean? Do a Jerry translation. Okay. What was Jerry Jones trying to say?
I think Jerry Jones was trying to say that they don't have an urgency to get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb that's not on their terms.
Okay.
I think they want the deal the way they want the deal. And they are willing and showed they're willing to wait this out. Okay? He tried to cover his tracks by saying, no. When I said we're not have an urgency to sign the deal, I meant because he's not playing in the preseason. It's like, okay, sure. I think the Cowboys are punting this. This is what it looks like. And to be honest, I wonder if they end up getting something done with Lamb now. Maybe they feel like they can keep negotiating during the season. And Dak is obviously a whole other ball of wax. But I think that there is a world where the Cowboys punt all of this to next season.
See, I would think it more meant like, from a negotiating standpoint, we know we don't need CD in camp. We want to push this till early September to get the best deal possible. But see, it makes more sense to sign CeeDee Lamb. Like, Dak's a lot of money, so you can hold off on that. Parsons, you still have time. I think that they want to sign CD now. I think urgency, like it's August 12th, we don't need him on the field.
Right, but so how much better of a deal do you think they're getting now?
Well, it's kind of like they did with the lineman. Who was the lineman they pushed until? It was Zach Martin they pushed until September. I think that's their style here. I think they're going to sign Lamb. Like, why would they not sign Lamb? They have to sign Lamb.
But who do you think ends up getting the better deal here the longer it goes? When you look at the history of the Cowboys, I think it's shown that the player ends up getting the better deal.
Well, they're going to want to go... Yeah, well, then again, like it still seems like their style to be patient and wait. I don't know if it's the right style or not, but I think he's asking for $36 million now, probably $1 more million, and he's probably the Cowboys are going to be like, well, if we push him, CeeDee Lamb doesn't want to sit out the season, so they're probably saying, well, our only leverage here is to wait and get him down to 33 or whatever.
Maybe, or he's saying, I'll wait till Jamar Chase signs, and then we're going to be talking about a whole new ceiling that just happened, because Chase is probably going to get more than Jefferson.
I'm actually going to take Jerry at his word here. He just means, we know what you said. We know CD is awesome. We don't need him here in mid-August. Maybe save some wear and tear. That being said, what does Jerry's words mean anyway? He said they were all in this offseason and had the most remarkably all-out offseason of any owner or any team in the history of the sport. They didn't pay anybody. They didn't sign anybody. They did nothing. They said, we're going to be all in, and proceeded to be all out. So when he says being patient or not patient, you can't trust Jerry, Maggie.
I know. If you can't trust Jerry Jones, what can you trust in this world? I mean, our faith in everything has gone out the window.
You really think that they're going to go into the season with no new contract for all three? You don't think that they one more signing left?
Maybe. But and if of those three, it's probably Lamb that gets done.
I would think so.
But I just think the Cowboys, unless they have some kind of ace up the sleeve or something, they don't generally win when the player's willing to be patient. They didn't win with Ezekiel Elliott. They didn't win with Dak Prescott. When guys are willing to wait it out, generally the player gets the better of the Joneses. And I think CD could be the next player to do that.
Yeah, but they all end up staying. So I think CD is going to sign and be fine.
Coming up, one college football coach is feeling the pressure, lashing out. I'll tell you who next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, well, this is getting a little crazy even for Deion Sanders. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, back from vacation, and we're so pleased to have him. Not sure if this got to you while you were having a lovely time with your family in California, Pearl, but Deion Sanders getting a little defensive. And, you know, we should have known because when he started off this whole Colorado thing, his biggest question was, do you believe? You know, he kind of thought that the media should really only be there to be the cheerleading section and not be there to be critical or to be negative or skeptical or anything. So Deion's kind of set this path, and I think we all kind of understood it. I think we also thought that maybe Deion would get a little bit of a thicker skin as he moved forward coaching at this level, right? Because he got a lot of praise for Colorado. They end up going 4-8, and now there are expectations in the next year. And Shedeur Sanders is going to be probably one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and we know what comes with the territory. And Deion knows what comes with the territory more than anyone because he's lived so many lives. But he's starting to get really defensive. So let's hear cut 13, please. First, Pete, this is Deion refusing to answer a question from a reporter from the local CBS affiliate in Colorado.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler,
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rigo, Mile High
Ain't got nothing to do with you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate you, respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe Rigo, Mile High Sports. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
Okay, so he didn't go into what they did, so it's left us to maybe fill in some of the blanks here. It could be two different things, Perloff. It could be that a CBSSports.com article ranked Deion the second worst coach of the Big 12. Mm-hmm. And so now he's stonewalling everyone from CBS. Or it may have been some reporting on Shiloh, his son, who's got a legal issue happening with a janitor from his high school. So we're not sure what's going on here because Deion has not said specifically what.
Right. But I know last week you did the Athlon story too. Do you think it's possible Deion thought, I don't know, somehow thought that was connected to that? CBS was, maybe he read on CBSSports.com or recap. I have no idea. But that's the thing. He didn't spell it out. So now we're left to figure out. I'm sure that Deion, at one level, knew it was Athlon, but coaches don't really follow it as closely as we do. He probably got some weird information.
I mean, that'd be a big case of mistaken identity because Perloff's referring to a piece that we talked about a little bit last week from Athlon Sports. which basically detailed some pretty bad behavior going on in the Colorado program, whether it's players fighting. Okay, maybe that happens like infighting, but also there were guns in and around the team. Also that one player owed another player $10,000 from unpaid gambling debts. I mean, these are all things that Deion has denied. So he's giving it no oxygen. We mentioned that I reached out to him. He got back to me via DM saying there's no truth to any of that reporting. But I don't know if you can say I mistook Athlon for CBS. That might be a stretch.
Well, I mean, it's a stretch to get mad because some random CBSSports.com article ranked them second to last. That's insane. Because you know how these rankings work. It's just some dude. And by the way, the fact he's not even last. I mean, you think Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State is stonewalling the CBS Tempe? Come on, this is ridiculous.
Well, and then a lot of people are pointing out here when there were two very glowing 60 Minutes profiles of Deion Sanders, one when he's at Jackson State and one last year, he had no problem with CBS then. And obviously everyone knows, even if you're living under a rock, that CBS that's where 60 Minutes airs, because obviously we all watch football and we all know that 60 Minutes is coming up next, except for on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, I'm doing a deep dive in this Big 12 rankings. I mean, this is, if that's what the Deion was mad at, this dude has Gus Malzahn at UCF number 8. You're telling me that Deion can't outcoach Gus Malzahn? I could outcoach Gus Malzahn.
Aw, that's not fair. Okay, so there's more. Deion was on one. This was Friday. So first he refused to answer a question from a CBS Colorado reporter. Then the Denver Post columnist, so not a reporter, but a columnist who's paid to give their opinion, kind of like what Perloff and I do. They got back and forth and they got into it. So Pete, can I hear cut 14, please?
Coach Sean Keeler, the Denver Post. Happy summer, my man.
You don't like us, man. Why do you do this to yourself?
Come on.
You don't like us.
Mark likes me, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah. Mark said he likes me.
No,
so
but
that's
you
one.
don't. Why do you do this, though?
No, sorry. Two-parter if I could.
No, I'm serious. Why do you do this? Like, you know you don't. Like, why do you do this?
No, it's not about that. Football question.
No, why do you do this? Like, it would be hard for me to really engage in someone I don't like or something I don't like. I'm just asking why. Like, why?
Gotta pay
What
the bills,
did I do?
You didn't do anything.
Okay, there's more here. Deion asking this columnist why they attacked the program.
I'm asking you why.
Yeah, you can answer, but that's
okay,
not
answer me.
Because
Because you want me to answer you. So
okay, that's fine. That's fair.
Why?
Yeah. Why? Because I have
Give
questions.
me your why.
What's your why? What do you want to know?
Why do you always on attack? Like, what did we do?
Where am I on attack today? Where am I on attack?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you opportunities to be on attack.
Okay. Do we want to even hear more? There's more. Yeah, Deion, let's hear cut 16. Says they're going to hash it out in private.
I'm asking you why. Like, what does it do for you? Like, what happened?
It's not about me.
But what happened to get you like this?
It's a good question.
No, I'm serious. Because I want to help. I'm serious. I want to help. Because it's not normal.
We can talk about that.
Okay.
Can I ask you a football question?
No.
Seriously.
No, we'll talk about that. When we talk about that, I'll talk about that with you.
Can we ask you a football question, please?
When I talk about that, we talk about that. We can talk about that.
Got all that?
Oof.
Talk about that. We can talk about that. I think that Deion thinks he's doing one thing here, and it's actually another. I think what he thinks he's doing is calling out people who are negative on the program, and also by way of intimidating other people in the press from not saying bad things about him, right? He's obviously feels much more comfortable in this scenario than the reporter does going back and forth. And so, is kind of winning the war of words and feels like doing this publicly. No one's ever going to say or write anything bad about him again. That's the opposite of what's happening. What's happening is you have somebody who is revealing that they have thin skin. And what he should actually done here, and if I were advising him, I would say, answer the football question and then talk to this guy behind the scenes and have that conversation that you want to have so badly. I wouldn't have done this publicly like this because I don't think it gets Deion where he wants to go.
Maggie, what are you doing?
What?
You're applying logic to Primetime Deion. This isn't some newbie coach who's taking over Temple basketball. This is Deion Sanders. He's primetime. He's larger than life. He's a character. You can't tell him to do things any other way but his way.
That's fine. I think he opens himself up to more criticism, though, not less, if he wins 5 games this year or 4 games this year.
Right, but you're saying, like, if Deion was smart, he would handle it this way and that way. Like, you can't tell Deion to be anybody but Deion because it's not going to work.
Well, then
you're
it's
wasting
a bad
your time.
calculation then. If it's all calculated, I think it's just a miscalculation.
No, but I know it's not calculated. Deion is, you think that he could calculate all these years of being primetime? This is really genuinely who he is. The funny thing, too, he was at TV for a long time. He ripped 100 guys. I mean, he was doing Sunday night. Bad play, of course he would rip it. So what is he talking about? It's weird, but I don't think he's like Jerry Jones that we talked about earlier in the show. I don't think Deion can turn it on and off. And if he could, then I think he would have done things a lot differently since he got to Colorado. But I don't think Deion could be half Deion. Once you're Deion Sanders, he's fully bought into who he is. And this is consistent in the sense, you used the word thin-skinned. I'm not sure that's all that's going on here. I think he really believes like he is, I think he believes his own hype. Do you think this is an act?
I think he turns it on when he wants to turn it on. I do. And again, I think this is a calculation to see somebody that he doesn't like and to try to intimidate that person in a public setting. And again, I think it's a miscalculation to try to embarrass a reporter because they may, like, Deion is not dumb. He understands that, just like you said, he was critical of guys when he was on NFL Network. He understands that the press is not there just to kiss your butt. Yet he will try to intimidate people who write things and say things that he finds to be negative. And I got to be honest with you, there's only more of that coming your way when you do stuff like this. Because twofold, shows you can get a rise out of them. And 2, you're going to get criticized if you're not winning. And I don't know who thinks that they're going to be like this gangbusters team. And this is with maybe the best or second best quarterback in all of college football.
Yeah, I just don't think he's as calculated as you think. I don't think, I think Deion is really just, he's like a force of nature. It's like saying, like, slow down, stop being Deion and be like every other coach. He's just so unique that I think that he really did take it personally. Like, there was nothing. Yes, he's trying to bully him. I totally agree with that. Yeah. But I don't think he's like, this is a plan of how I'm going to control the media. I think is thin-skinned, and he took it super personally, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And maybe it was the low ranking. And, like, I think Deion is like, man, you can't say that about me. I'm Deion Sanders.
It's only going to get you so far, though, when you're coaching and not playing corner.
I know, but that's the reality. We said it coming to Colorado. Is he going to be able to handle losing? Because he's taking over a program from scratch. And normally you'd give a coach a lot of time to build that up. But that's not in Deion's nature.
That's true.
Because he was so awesome as a player. Would he have the patience to build a program slowly? I think we're seeing no.
EJ, what do you think about this? Let's bring you in here. Do you think Deion was being calculated on this, or do you think he was just shooting from the hip?
There definitely was no calculation with Deion in terms of him doing this. I mean, maybe there's, Deion thinks weird. So sometimes maybe there's this, well, if I show my team that we're not going to back down from detractors, that will maybe give them an edge. I don't know. But I don't really see much, calculation from Deion Sanders. I think this is someone who takes things very personally. I mean, we saw last year in the lead up to the Colorado State game, how all the stuff that happened during the week, he kept telling his team, now it's personal. I think he takes any kind of perceived slight, even ones that aren't actually slights. Because, I mean, I know being ranked second worst coach may hurt him, but I mean, Gus Malzahn's been to a national title, won an NSC title game. It's not a slight to say you're not as good a head coach as him. Like, to say that these things are slights, I think he does take it personal. I think he thinks it gives him a better edge, but it's coaching. This is not, I'm lining up against Jerry Rice and I need to psych myself up to make sure I can stop this guy. This is a battle of wits. This is a battle of emotion, keeping them in check. And this is also a battle of showing composure. And Deion doesn't seem to show that in these moments. And to me, it makes him look like a worse head coach, not a better one.
Well, yeah, that's what Deion was as a player. I think you kind of nailed it, EJ. Like, he would win that battle before. He'd show up at the stadium in a fur coat and be like, I am Deion Sanders. You are not going to beat me. And I think that was part of his edge. And I don't think he ever really, I don't think you could just lose that. You can't be the best cornerback of all time, arguably, and then just not be cocky as a coach.
Let's hear from you guys in the chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, where Travis is saying this is cringe for Deion Sanders. It's unprofessional. The reporter should have been just asked the question, and this is devolving. Better start winning soon. You're right. Yeah. The winning part of it, like we all know, look, Georgia's got a million problems, and we talk about them when they come up, but nobody's like really chastising Georgia probably as much as we should because the cover of winning, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not like something we should all be proud of. I'm just saying it's kind of a reality of what happens in professional sports and college sports. I think, again, Deion is like, this is going to be set up as the media like built him up and is tearing him down. It's like, no.
Oh,
he's also complicit in this, right?
Yeah, but we saw it coming.
He's giving the headlines. He's giving the sound bites. He is also adding to this. Like if they have a bad season, people are going to point to these little moments and these sound bites. Not that this is why they're going to lose to North Dakota State or anything like that, but like, oh, how did this unravel, as Travis is saying in the chat? How did this unravel? How did this devolve? It's because little moments like this and drip, drip, drip in the bathtubs.
What are you talking? The guy walked in and said, "You're all cut." There's no drip, drip, drip. He came out immediately and was full Coach Prime and said, "Do you believe?" Like, I think it's been a consistent sort of steady faucet stream of Deion, and it's not drip. Everyone knows the deal with drip. I do think it is a build him up, tear him down situation with the media. I thought the buildup was crazy last year. It was way out of control for a rebuilding team because we don't view Colorado like anyone else. And then the teardown is going to come because it's going to be hard to win. And now, that being said, if they go 4-1 or something, because they did bring in a lot of transfers and maybe it all works, then the buildup's going to happen and Deion can say whatever he wants. So I do think there is some. That's why Deion. There's a reason Deion is so interesting, right? If he was a calculating a normal coach and he toned it down, then we wouldn't be talking about him as much. But he's not, and he is worth talking about because he's very interesting.
855-212-4227. What are you expecting Deion year 2 in Colorado? How much better is it going to get? Do you think it's going to get worse? Where are you on Colorado? I know our very own Andrew Kaplan is a proud Colorado alum. He's in the chat saying, just win, please. Just win some games. Please. 855-212-4227. Yes.
Yeah, their schedule's pretty tough. I don't know if this is going to be easy. I'm a little worried. I think if they're 2-3, oh, man, it's not going to look good.
We've got so much more to do, including the best and the worst from the first weekend of NFL preseason. Spoiler, rookie quarterbacks. Wow. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Big weekend of preseason football. Real quick, Maggie, before we dive into any real topics here, what'd you think of your Bills? Anything you say right now is about to be a gigantic overreaction because I got to tell you, they were mailing it in that game.
Well, then I didn't understand why the coach came out after and was like, "This was awful," and all that. Here's what I thought. I thought that there's a possibility. I don't think it's a strong possibility. It's a non-zero chance that they become kind of just like any other team. It's going to be hard because I think Josh Allen still is so special. But we'll see what happens to the receiving core and the defense. Not everyone was playing, but there were a lot of guys on the 53 who were playing on defense, and the middle of the field was wide open.
Get out of here. I knew you thought this. The Bills such an overreaction.
The Bills couldn't stop the run for like a good decade of my life, and so I'm a little concerned about that now. But we'll see. I was actually surprised a little bit more about, we're going to get to the rookie quarterbacks in just a moment, but I thought Justin Fields was going to have like this really great game.
Based on what?
Because he'd been looking really good in practice, and, the Russell Wilson injury kind of opened the door, so he's been getting all the first-team reps as Russ is, recovering from his injury, and I thought we were going to see, like, something really great from Justin Fields, and he settled in a little bit, but multiple botched snaps, sacks, it wasn't so amazing. I wasn't blown away.
Well, there's two things working against Justin Fields. One, he was never that good last year, and B, he's a Steelers quarterback. And I know Matt Cannon's not in the building, but this offense is never going to look that pretty. It's not going to look that much better with Russ either.
Yeah, the run game looked good, and I guess the other thing I thought watching the Steelers, and I'm curious if any other Steeler fans are with me on this one at 855-212-4227, might want to up that offer for Ayuk. And I
But
know
why? Why?
Because
to
you
not
need
throw it to him?
You need another weapon there. You do.
You've had millions of weapons that you don't use anyway. I don't know. I think if Ayuk is frustrated with the San Francisco situation, wait till he gets Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator with the Russ Wilson, Justin Fields combo. I'm not sure I totally agree because they won't use that weapon. Tomlin wants to win 20-13. Do they need Ayuk?
Are you getting to 20? You are probably, but I think they could really use another weapon there, and reportedly they have bumped up their offer a bit. We'll get to that in just a moment, but Andrew Bogusch is here. Okay, rookie QBs, preseason. Who do you got?
We got number 1 overall, Caleb Williams. There is no controversy in Chicago, but it definitely helps the Bears when Caleb looks good, and he did in his preseason debut against those Bills in Buffalo on Saturday. 4 of 7, 95 yards, 13 rushing yards. The number 1 pick knows it's preseason, but
it definitely feels good to get out there. Last time I was out there on the field, other than practice, was November 18th, and it's you go that long without something. It's tough, but it's been great. The guys have made it fun. They made it easy on me.
And Coach Flus ain't surprised.
Fruits of his labor. He's been working his tail off for 15 practices, and then, even before that, all through the summer. So it's good to be able to say, hey, all this drill work, all the things that I've been doing, it's paying off, and I can see the improvements, And we're going to look at this tape and then look back and say, hey, what can I learn from this?
Veteran wideout DJ Moore called Williams' outing outstanding. The Bears' plan is apparently for Williams to get roughly 50 snaps over their 2 remaining preseason games.
Yeah, he looked great. And again, Bills defense, not everyone playing. I understand with all these rookies, you're not getting the full game plan against you, but man, does he just looks like he belongs. That's the biggest thing.
Well, I mean, all the rookies do. It's funny thing about it, I feel like the reports out of Bears camp have not been nearly as positive on Caleb as Jaden Daniels has been nothing but, this guy's a superstar, this guy's a superstar. I felt like we were getting some mixed reports out of Chicago. I think what happened this weekend put a lot of that to rest.
Maybe this was Nick Saban, his advice to Coach Flus was try to temper the expectations for your quarterback, because that's why, in Coach Saban's opinion, why so many first-round quarterbacks fail, is because the expectations are so high, and then when you don't live up to them at first, it can really crush a guy. Saban's words, not mine.
Did Saban have examples?
They might have cut those out of
like
the
Zach
Hard Knocks.
Wilson?
I think
I'm not sure.
Maybe he's talking about Mac Jones. Maybe he's talking about Zach Wilson. I don't know.
I mean, it's half. They ran that graphic during the Giants' Hard Knocks as they were kind of debating first-round quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And the last 5 years, it's like 2/3 bad, 1/3 good.
Sure.
I mean, that Mac Jones year, they've all changed teams, right?
Yeah.
All the first-round picks.
But, I mean, there was a reason that some of these classes were very limited because of COVID, so they didn't see Trey Lance, and they just had to take a total flyer on Zach Wilson, too. So I think there might be reasons that it's gotten particularly bad where, I think there are reasons this is going to be particularly good.
Yeah, except for Trevor Lawrence is still on the same team. But I think what Saban maybe was trying to say is that they're all talented, right? They all have tools and weapons, and the scouting isn't so off, that your eyes are deceiving you. It's just, can you play at this level with all the expectations of being a first-round pick?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how new a problem this is. I mean, it goes back to Peyton and Ryan Leaf. I mean, it's always almost like a 50-50 proposition if you're taking a quarterback in the first round that he's going to hit or not.
And Caleb looked great. Jaden Daniels looked really good. They all looked good. I mean, Drake May we didn't really see enough of.
Right.
But J.J. McCarthy looked exactly like Michigan, running the ball, and then when he did get an opportunity to throw, he looked good. Threw a pick, but whatever. Bo Nix looked good. Michael Penix looks like he's the starter.
Michael Penix's arm is crazy. The ball, first of all, is out of his hand in about a blink of an eye, and it's such a tight spiral. Now, Penix wasn't as perfect as some of the, he definitely missed some throws. I saw, but he'll sit. I got to be honest. Like I would rank it this way. I think Caleb looks amazing. Jaden looks amazing. Penix looks great. Nix and McCarthy are going to be really good. So I think you have 5 real great chances here. May, I do not see it.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's kind of at the disadvantage, right? Because who's the offensive genius that's really helping him? Where's
I know Alex Van Pelt, who's been around forever, but
but also you're getting to the Patriots at a weird time.
Exactly. He feels like the hopeless one.
There's also a really funny thing that happens in preseason. I don't know if this happened with you guys, where all of a sudden you tune in and you see CJ Stroud throw a couple passes, you're like, oh right, and then they go to Easton Stick, and it's like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, I'm gonna reserve.
The quarterback play is all over the place.
Yeah, I'm gonna reserve judgment on everybody not named Caleb and Jaden Daniels right now because they're playing against the 2.5 string defense.
Yeah,
I mean it's just
JJ McCarthy Darnold started.
Darnold
that game.
started right.
Same thing for Bo Nix.
Yeah. So, and they got the bulk of the playing time, and Trey Lance threw the ball 50 bazillion times. Not to insert a non-rookie into the conversation, but it's just a lot of guys have looked good in a quarter plus in August against nonsense defenses.
Wow.
So.
I mean, sometimes guys earn the job. Like Mac Jones won it in preseason and turned out to be okay as a rookie, but really, again, it looked like it was going good, and now he's a bust. So you never know. It takes a while to figure this out.
Or Russell Wilson won the job in preseason, and then he held on to it.
Yeah. Sometimes it works out great. Then again, I just think this is an unusual class. Really, the fact that there's 6 of them, we haven't had that in many, many years. These guys are going to hit. It's just not all 6, but I'm telling you, there are at least 3 All-Pros in this group, which is not. That feels reasonable. No, I mean, are you in yet? Are you fully in? Half in?
I'm a quarter in. I'm all in on Caleb, though. That looked really, really good.
By the way, talking about a guy who did not look good, Mitch Trubisky, I've never seen somebody overthrow a wide open person at the goal line higher than Mitch Trubisky threw that football.
Llisten, he really wants to make sure the ball doesn't get intercepted, so he's throwing it into the third row. That's
as safe as possible.
That's the only way to make sure that it doesn't get picked.
He'd been getting so criticized for throwing it 9 yards on a 3rd and 11 that I think he's now going to overthrow to make up for all the short throws last year. It's going to be great.
In case you need more Aaron Rodgers, a new Ian O'Connor biography comes out this week, and in it, Rodgers says he does regret saying he was immunized during the 2021 season. He says he should have just been honest, said he was allergic to something in the Johnson & Johnson shot, so he wasn't taking that, and he didn't want to get vaccinated at all, even if there were local mandates requiring him to play. Rodgers now thinks the appeal of his 10-day quarantine when he tested positive in November of that season would have gone differently if he hadn't tried to play word games with all of us.
Yeah, I think he's right about that, because he was so defiant about it at the time. I think this is what people got upset about. Thinking back to that time, not living in these times and applying it back then, but let's remember what it was like to live in 2020, where if you had been vaccinated, you got to do in-person press with the rest of the media. And if you weren't, you had to do it on a Zoom. And the fact that Rodgers was doing it always in person, I think felt like, oh, are you putting other people at risk? Remember, that was a thing back then. That was not nothing. So,
yeah, just being, we could have disagreed still with his thoughts, but when you're not talking down to us, you're putting yourself in the wrong spot.
The doing my own research thing, it's like, all right, where's the double blind, right. Lab test that you're doing? But I digress. Did you guys see that Rodgers was at Madison Square Garden over the weekend? They were doing a live recording of a very popular podcast called Kill Tony with Tony Hinchcliffe. He did a set at the Brady Roast.
Oh, yeah.
He does this out of Austin, Texas. It's super popular. You guys never heard of this before?
And they were doing it in the Garden?
Yeah, they were doing a live recording in the Garden, and all these famous comedians were there, including Joe Rogan, who's obviously close with Rodgers. And Rodgers came out at one point and was throwing footballs into the stands as like a surprise guest.
So he's allowed there, but you're not.
Yes.
Okay. At least the Mets scored yesterday. They didn't on Friday or Saturday, but they still didn't beat the Mariners. The 12-1 final, giving Seattle a 3-game sweep by a combined score of 22-1. They've now won 4 in a row, those M's. They remain in a virtual tie with the Astros in the AL West. Austin Dillon won the NASCAR Cup Series race at Richmond last night after wrecking Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin in the final moments of said race. Logano not happy on NBC.
He's 4 car lengths back. Not even close. Then he wrecks the 11 to go along with it. And then he's going to go up there and thank God and praise everything with his baby. It's a bunch of BS. It's not even freaking close. I mean, dude, I get it, bump and run. I get it. I didn't back up the corner at all. He came in there and just drove through me. It's ridiculous.
I forgot to mention this all began with it's chicken bleep and then all of the what you heard.
Almost as good as Saban and Jimbo Fisher when he's like, Jimbo Fisher's like, it's all a fraud. Saban's got so many skeletons.
Yeah, he's got a kid and God. It's all BS.
It's all BS. Man, way to pull back the curtain.
Dylan doing all of that to get his first win since August of 2022. He clinches himself a spot in NASCAR's postseason. And Live Golf giving Graham McDowell 1 tournament suspension and a $100,000 fine for testing positive for a banned substance. That was in his over-the-counter Vicks medication for severe congestion. McDowell failing that test at the Nashville event back in June.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no. Let it sink in.
Liv is drug testing people?
Apparently. No
Why?
performance-enhancing nasal decongestants.
Does it help you putt better?
I don't know. It has methamphetamine in the name, the longer scientific name, so I don't know exactly what it's meant to do for you, but it's in Vicks and it can't be in a Live Golfer.
Is this the type of stuff when you try to buy it at CVS, they ask for your license?
Probably. It's behind the counter.
Oh. Or it's like locked in a box. You have to ask for help.
Yeah.
Oh, the worst.
Especially if you're you don't know exactly what you want. I think I was trying to buy deodorant and I should have opened the case and I'd like stand there while I looked at which scent I wanted.
So much pressure.
Fresh, or do I want lavender spray?
Exactly. It's one thing when you know what you want and they open it, you grab it, and you walk away. But I needed to shop, and so she had to stand there.
They don't want to. They don't want to be there either. They're like, we got another person on aisle 9 who needs to look at the floss or something.
Right. You can almost hear the groan when the bell goes off if you hit the little service button.
Now, growing up, I understand. They put the condoms behind the counter because nobody wants to buy a condom. It's so super embarrassing. So you would steal that if you could. Now I find it interesting what CVS and Dwayne Reed put behind the counter says to me, oh, this is what people would steal if they could.
Yeah.
It's always something you wouldn't expect.
I know, but now they have the equally, at times, embarrassing thing of instead of stealing it, now you have to ask for it.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So you know exactly what's going on
the
now.
guy's like, I'll take the Magnums. She's like, not so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, now you have to lie and take the Magnums just to impress.
Exactly. It's probably all these unplanned. Anyway.
I'm not
gonna get into
problems.
the details of that. The Pep
Where's
Boyle
Boyle?
show.
I need a quadruple XL.
Oh, this is a good point by Kaplan. Didn't Amazon broke retail? You should just be buying. You could just be ordering them from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, but see,
that's. I mean, come on. If a box shows up to your house and it's got a big old Trojan on it, I mean,
no, they ship discreetly.
No, I mean some of the things.
What
that
if you're
they
a
send
teenage
out,
boy though? You can't. You have to go to the store. You can't have the.
Dude,
if you're 15.
If you're a teenage boy, your parents should be buying them for you.
No,
out.
Maggie. No, what are you talking about? First of all, I had my friend lend me one of his condoms and sat in that wallet for a good 7 years. There you go.
Expired
until my wedding
that
night.
Circle is emblazoned there for the rest of history. Because that condom did not come out of the wallet, but it was there.
It's not a
You
change
never know.
dish.
You never know.
It's just powder. Just disintegrates into dust.
Perloff, much like your buddy, I used to be the guy that used to hook it up back in high school.
That's not surprising.
For condoms or everything?
For condoms, no, not everything. I was
Wait, what do you mean?
resourceful.
Wait, what?
I was the condom connoisseur.
Oh, you were giving them out.
I was the health department.
So
essentially.
you were ready to go.
Why?
CDC is zoo.
You weren't dealing drugs or booze or anything. You were dealing condoms.
I cornered the market. I cornered the market.
Were you getting that much action that you were an expert?
Listen, sometimes you find the bulk and you go to work.
So you had a Sam's Club membership in West Virginia? I'm confused.
No, this is high school.
Or
This
did
is high
the women
school.
find the bulk? What's going on here, dude?
Oh my God.
Look out. Easy. This is a family show.
Is
Everybody,
it
come
though?
on. No, we do support the elderly community getting these condoms, by the way.
Yeah,
Only people thinking about them, quite frankly.
Now that the Olympics are over, we need to really get into business on that because those condoms are going to waste over there in France.
Wait.
Bingo nights.
So there'd be a situation like, well, Susie and I are thinking about taking the next step. Well, better go talk to Zoo then. Is that how it worked in your high school?
I would just pop around a locker and I would be like, oh, you don't say.
Did you have him inside like a overcoat, a trench coat, like hanging on the inside alongside watches? Different options?
No, we would have to go.
He's also flashing you. It's, like, it's really one-stop shop.
It is a one-stop shop. But no, we would retire over to the boys' sports locker room.
Wait, you weren't charging for these, were you?
No,
this wasn't a side hustle.
Of course
okay,
not.
This was just a kindness of your heart.
Oh yeah, kindness
of
my
Boy Scout project. I don't understand.
Of course.
Were you an Eagle Scout now?
He was totally charged. He's being sarcastic. He was making mint off this condom sales because it's so embarrassing to go into the drugstore.
It is. It's insane. And one of my buddies was very desperate one time, so we might have taken advantage of him in that moment.
Oh wow. I mean, listen, it's called dynamic pricing, right?
Hey, exactly. I mean, listen, you want
it's worth what it's worth in the moment.
You want a condom right now, bro? It's $8.
There's no price really that you could put on.
You gotta buy me chicken tenders and fries right now and get that over here.
Zoo, you would have led the charge into the liquor store. I could tell that you were a confident man when it came to buying liquor.
ever ID'd me for anything.
Because you've had that beard since you were 8.
I was 16, right? I was 16, and I used to hang out with people of all ages from my neighborhood. We all grew up together. And a 21-year-old kid legitimately asked me to go get him alcohol because he didn't get his 21-year-old license yet. And he was like, they're not going to believe me. And I'm like, but I'm 16.
This is Zoo
He's like, yeah, but you got a beard.
Standing at a craps table. He's like 12.
Right. With a rental car, playing the lotto.
But the funny thing too,
lots of porn, lots of guns, everything.
Condoms.
You're the guy.
If you're not watching on YouTube, Zoo sounds like he's the kind of guy who could have gotten served at 16 too.
Yeah.
Like it's fully consistent.
Oh yeah. I would go to the movies, never a question. And I thought that was just a thing. I was like, everybody just gets in, And then I had friends that were like,
see showgirls time after time.
Dewey Cox story at like 11, like that's insane.
Whoa.
Walk Hard, a Dewey Cox story.
That is.
That's an intense movie for those of you that haven't seen it. Not the best John C. Reilly movie, but definitely the dirtiest.
And there's not a second. Maybe Boogie Nights.
Oh yeah.
Well, Boogie Nights.
That's a fun time. I saw that in college, and now that was like
no one describes that movie as fun.
That was like watching 18 different movies at one time.
I'm surprised you weren't in it.
I wish I was.
The Philip Seymour Hoffman role could have been Zoo.
I could have been that. I would have also loved to play the Alfred Molina role.
Oh,
at the end.
The crazy drug addict.
Oh yeah, good time. Just just chilling out, listening to Jesse's Girl.
And killing people.
The only person who thinks this is a good time.
Yes.
After I watched that the first time, I had to sit by myself in a dark room for many hours.
I did the same thing, but you know what? It was therapeutic.
That's based on a real set of murder. That's the Wonderland Murders, which there's another movie where Val Kilmer plays. That's like all happened in real life, that Alfred Molina scene. So
awesome.
Be careful, Zoo.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, what are you doing here? You should be on the adult film set right now. You obviously you have a caller here.
I got a pizza.
Ding dong. Who is it?
Zoo is a plumber.
Hey, did somebody need their pipes clean?
It's just Zoo wearing a different hat.
I got the milk, baby.
Oh boy. Zoo, they're asking if you played football in high school. The chat wants to know. Delta.
I did, and it's
Need to
funny.
bring your birth certificate?
I did, and it's funny because I'm young for my age. Like, I graduated high school at 17. I didn't even turn 18 till the end of my first semester in college. But everybody on my team freshman year was like, oh God, who's this man coming to try out with us? Because I had this big old beard, and I'm like, nah, I'm not a man. I'm a little boy.
Yeah, I can sell you condoms, but I am a little boy.
I'm a little boy who's got all different sizes and flavors.
But that was a great Yogi Berra line right there. I'm young for my age.
Hey, I'm a big yogiism guy. Yogi did invent Yoo-hoo.
Yep.
True. Perloff worked with him for many years. All right, well, what did we learn there?
We learned where to get condoms, Maggie.
$8.
See our guy.
Although that was back in 2013, now we're talking 2024. The inflation has hit. I think that's like, I don't know, 20.
You've refreshed your supply, though, right?
How do you think we get the deals on
We
these
can't have
things,
these
Bogus?
Obama administration
I think those bad boys can expire.
Not going to work.
We will send those ones to the adult homes. Senior citizen home.
Lovely. All right. That happened. So we have a lot more to do. Yeah.
Gold medal condoms coming to you.
That's right. Lots more football next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Perloff's back from vacation, and so Bogish left us with a cliffhanger last week where you had a Sunday wedding, which is, for our line of work, can be a little difficult. How are you doing? You seem like you're okay.
Yeah, I'm just tired. It was not a party, you-know-what-off type of wedding for me, at least, so that was not my concern. I was afraid of getting only 2 hours of sleep, basically, and I couldn't take today off for just vacation day numbered issues. Mm-hmm. So I was going to do the tough guy thing and show up. So slept up the block. So the nice 4-minute walk was nice, the commute.
And you said you got in trouble last night in the hotel.
Not in the hotel, during this past week, because this has always been our plan. And the plan was always just for it was a family, there was me, my wife, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law were going to this wedding. It was one of their family friends. So all along, the plan was for all of us to drive, and then for me to be dropped off at the hotel so I could sleep an extra 90 minutes and then walk on the block to work. And last Tuesday or Wednesday, my wife just began a conversation with her staying in the hotel room as well. And I guess my surprised facial expression, you're staying too, did not go over well. So I was a little in the doghouse for a day and a half because she thought I was she wasn't invited to stay in the hotel. And I'm like, but this was never what was going on. We've had this conversation 16 times. It was always me sleeping rapid fire in the room and going to work. You don't want to be there at 4:30. My alarm is going off and I'm trying to get dressed in the dark. That's not fun.
Who's watching? And the grandparents?
The kids were with my parents.
Okay, so yeah, I'm with her.
I mean, we're kind of steps away from the greatest shopping in the world, so maybe she wanted to be in this neighborhood.
No. She had to go home. She has work today too. She had to get the kids back from my mom's. This was just her sleeping in this. And logistically, I was right because it wouldn't have made sense for her to be in the city this morning. But again, and it was only because she had never mentioned her staying until the other day. So when I was huh? She was like, oh, you don't want me there? I'm like, no, but this is news to me.
This always happens sometimes where you're just wait a minute, are we in a fight? What happened? Did the last 30 seconds of our life just blow before my eyes?
I don't know, Bogish.
Well, listen,
I got to be honest. I'm with her.
Perloff is back from vacation.
I mean, you have kids at home and you got a hotel room and your wife what are you doing?
No.
I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying,
No, I would not have needed to call Zoo yesterday.
No, I'm not saying that.
Zoo's the Uber Eats side condom business.
I'm just saying.
Where you at? All right, 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to stay in a hotel in the city. I can understand her point of view very easily.
The hotel room that I had was probably the size of this studio, including the shower. There would have been, and again, I said to her, my alarm's going off at 4:30.
So what? So she just goes to sleep through it.
Yeah, she could. Again, there was no reason why she couldn't come, but she had never said she was coming the other day, and I got in trouble for my surprise facial reaction. We're okay now. We had a good time last night.
Let's not rehash it. Bring it up.
Wait, sorry. Did she stay with you?
No, she went home and got 9 full hours of sleep because she's lucky.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Wait. Does anyone here on Team Bogish in this one? This is.
I'm not looking for company here. I'm fine.
Bogish. You hit her with a surprise facial, and you just expect her to be okay with you.
You can't. Well, you have to. Zoo, even for you.
How about Justin Fields?
What?
I think Perloff's going to be back on vacation for another week after that one.
All of us are going to be on vacation another week.
Permanent. Man, Zoo,
Justin Fields fumbling some snaps, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Just can't quit you, Zoo.
Oh, that Aaron Rodgers.
Saw Brock Bowers look pretty good for the Raiders.
How about that Bears game, huh?
Yeah, that's
two tight end sets for Vegas.
Yeah.
Michael Mayer from last
they're
year.
going to use him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bogish. You really should have just.
I would stop talking, Zoo. I would see you tomorrow.
EJ's trying to distance himself as far away from this as possible.
EJ's on Zoom at home, and even he can't get far enough.
He just tore his other patella. I don't want to go back there.
It's like, EJ, what are you doing with that knife? No. Don't do it.
But, hey, can I ask another question?
Nope.
Are you hammered right now?
No.
You really, you're
just
not at all. You really behaved yourself at this wedding.
Yeah, it was not. It was not a wedding where we were gonna get hammered. I had a couple of drinks in the beginning, which were delicious. They had, they did the thing where they each designed a drink, and they were just constantly sitting on the bar.
Electric slide.
So it was called a bee sting. It was Maker's Mark, honey syrup, and lemon juice. I think it's called a Gold Rush technically, but they changed it to fit their story. Yeah. But it was delicious. So I had like 3 of those, but like from 6 to 8, and then I was fine. And I had water.
So you're not totally sober.
I'm just tired. I'm not even a little bit unsober.
Sounds like you had a couple of bee stings there, buddy.
I had a couple of bee stings. That was it.
Sounds great.
Went home by myself.
What are we all doing after?
I got a room until 2.
New Sunday night plan. New Sunday night production call.
So your wife's not in the room, right?
No, my wife is home with the kids already. But I got the room till 2. So, Zoom, stock up. We'll grab some high noons or something, and we'll meet in room 1208.
Yeah, it's amazing because you said the room's about the size of the studio. I'm just drinking very close proximity to everybody.
I think
sounds like a delight.
Bogus, I think you saved us, everyone, with that delicious drink recipe. That's all anyone's going to remember from this segment.
Probably not.
Maybe. We'll see. Edward Zubin, that's his name.
That happens.
That's his
not Andrew Perloff.
That's the new name of our podcast. That just happened. Thank you to Pete Pilati. Thank you to EJ Stewart. Thank you to Andrew Bogusch. Andrew Kaplan is being a dynamo right now. We'll see you tomorrow. Sweetos.